Okie dokie, everyone. Thank you for being here. It looks a little bit different, doesn't it? Because I'm doing it a little low tech. Duke is working on helping us raise money. It's the end of the year. And if you want to put a little something in our stocking, you can send us a donation by going to kpppfm.com. It's tax deductible. I mean, what could be better than that, right? And today, just so everyone knows what we're doing, I'm going to show you. Check it out. This is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about migrant caravan infiltrators. Migrant caravan infiltrators. People that are just there to disrupt and cause problems. That's what we're going to be talking about on today's show. And all of these folks, it's going to be very, very interesting. Make sure and invite your friends and share this everywhere because it's really important information. And I'm going to be showing you all of that on today's show here on Crossing Lines with Cindy Gomez-Schempp. And I don't have Duke today. It's just me, guys. It's just me. You want to say hi to him, Duke?
Hello.
Look
Good
at
to
him.
see you.
He's so busy working over there. Encourage them, Duke. Tell them to send you donations.
Yeah, I'm going to post a link in the show, and
cool.
we're trying to raise money for continue our work, and it'll be a direct link directly to PayPal, and it's tax deductible. You'll get a receipt, and we'll keep you abridged of what we do with the funding and what we're doing all year.
It's right. It's a really good cause. We're a non-profit, non-commercial radio station, and we survive off of donations and grants from our listeners, our viewers, and our supporters out there. So let's get this show on the road. You're listening to a Mexican Crossing Lines on 88.1 FM, KPPPLP, Fargo-Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. You can also find all the rest of my previous shows about the caravan and about a bunch of other topics that we've been covering at kpppfm.com. Just look for a Mexican Crossing Lines, or if you want to specifically look for anything caravan related, type in caravan. By the way, my shows are in Spanish and in English. Many of them, especially about the caravan, because I want to get the information out there to the people being directly affected by the migrant caravan and also by these infiltrators, by the people that organized this caravan and sent it to Tijuana, specifically to Tijuana. So make sure that you go and check out all of those other shows. I'll be dropping them in the links here to this show so that you can go find them. All of my caravan shows are in there. By the way, you can get a hold of me, and I really appreciate all of the links that you guys have sent me. You're probably going to see some of the stuff that you sent me on today's show. If I don't get to your stuff right away, I will eventually promise, cross my heart. So hit me up. You can get a hold of me by calling our message line at 701-566. Let me start that over again. 701-566-0917. Or you can also tweet me at media_PPP. You can email me at cindy@kpppfm.com. Or you can email Duke at duke@kpppfm.com. You can also follow us on all three of our Facebook media platforms. The People's Press Project, that's our nonprofit organizational umbrella. We also have, of course, 88.1 FM, Fargo-Moorhead, but you can also follow us on Mexican Online. And Mexican Online has a lot of this caravan update stuff. I post in Spanish and in English on there. Got a lot of other news that gets covered in Mexican that's exclusive to the Hispanic, Latino, Mexicano, Indigenous people world. So go sign up for that, right? And finally, you can follow me on my public page at Gomez-Schempp. So go check my public page out subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can see all of our shows on there on YouTube. It's a pretty good way of interacting with the show. We're trying to multiply the platforms that we share our information on, and you can follow us there at Duke1517. Simple, right? Go hit subscribe, and then you will get notified when our shows get posted on YouTube. It's easy to share them, easy to watch them, so check it out. Let me start by telling you that the infiltrators that I have been able to find, I have noticed them because they were part of what happened at Standing Rock. They were the promoters, they were the funders, they were the organizational people that put together all of the nonsense that we saw at the Standing Rock protest against the Dakota Access Pipeline. The very same people that went on to do disaster vulture work, going from hurricane to hurricane, defrauding people. The same people that went and set up all those pipeline camps to fight against all of these other infrastructure projects, pipeline projects in America, the same people are involved in this caravan nonsense. So of course I'm going to follow and see what's going on. I've told you, because it is infuriating to me as a Mexican crossing lines, that these people are astroturfing, once again, an issue that has nothing to do with them, but they are going to astroturf it, brand it, hashtag Eagle and Condor Caravan, and then sell it. They're literally making money off of exploiting the caravan and its human crisis story, right? Because it is a human crisis. One, by the way, which the Mexican people in Tijuana and elsewhere throughout the Mexican Republic have been dealing with amazingly well. Despite the lack of coordination, despite the lack of checking in and asking any of them if they would, even just to let them know it was going to happen, because a lot of the people that organized this did so in concert with NGOs and organizations in the United States that have a political agenda, that have other goals in mind, none of which really entail making sure that the caravan is safe, as they claim that they are trying to do. This is what they're raising money for. They tell you they're raising money for the caravan because, oh, the caravan is in so much peril. But a lot of the peril that they keep saying the caravan is in is fake, is phony, is made up. And in addition to making up stuff, just like they made up the shooting of Marcus Mitchell, the guy from Standing Rock that got his eye shot out, and that guy, yeah, he recently was raising money, raised thousands of dollars with the help of some of these very same Standing Rock phonies, as I have come to label them. And it turns out that these stories are completely false, such as the little girl that died when last weekend there was a confrontation between Border Patrol and the Migrant Caravan at the Tijuana border, right? You heard about the Standing Rock people circulating the story that this little girl, she got hit in the head with a gas canister and she died. Then they downgraded her from death to she's in critical condition. There wasn't anybody in critical condition. No, not a single person. Now they've been telling stories about dead people in the ocean. Not true. Not at all true. They still keep repeating those lies. And the thing is, the most damaging of their lies aren't just the ones that they make up so that they can take your money, pull your heartstrings, and pick your pocket. No. It's the ones in which they're putting the migrant caravan in peril. They're endangering the lives of children and women. They are controlling, manipulating, and endangering the lives of the people in the caravan, and they don't give a rip. That is their goal, and I'm going to show you how they're doing that. If you need more information about these individual con men, their groups, their organizations, go back and watch my shows about the Caravan con men. Go back and watch the shows that I did on Caravan updates about the LGBTQIA Caravan and their leader and how they're connected to all these Standing Rock people. Pitaya Queen, or OJ Pitaya as she now goes on Facebook. The Caravan consequences I told you were going to happen as a result of this caravan being there. And I showed you in comparison to what they did here at Standing Rock here in North Dakota. I said there would be violent clashes. Ta-da! Violent clashes. And there's more. More stuff going on. I'm going to tell you all of those things that they're connected to, but go back and watch those other shows where I've laid all of this out, all of the foundations out for all of this. The Caravan Crisis, Caravan Conmen, Caravan Consequences, LGBTQIA, Pitaya Queen, Caravan, and then my Migrant Caravan updates, my shelter updates. Nemo doesn't have my shelter updates on here. Oh, yes, he does. Shelter updates, and today I'm telling you about what these infiltrators in the caravan are doing, because you ought to know. You can put it right there. It's fine. Okay. So they really want to compare Standing Rock to the Migrant Caravan. They're nothing alike. There's no real comparison of these two things, but, you know, the indigenous people of Standing Rock have laid claim on the Migrant Caravan because they're indigenous people too. And they're going to fulfill the prophecy of the condor and the eagle. So, you know, screw Mexico and screw Mexicans, screw Tijuana, because they're there and they're not going anywhere. And they're going to do what they do. They've also decided they're going to compare Standing Rock to the caravan, even though, like I said, they're nothing alike. Take a look. Here is one of the posts I found circulating. Lots of them just like it. I'm sure you've seen out there where they've got Tijuana 2018 and Standing Rock 2016. And you have the tear gas, the wall, the concertina, wire, etc. They really want to make that comparison. They want you to see the two things as one. So when you see a bunch of people out there with drums and feathers in their hair and singing yelling Mini Wachoni, it'll just seem all natural to you. Oh, it's totally natural that all of these natives from Standing Rock and all of these American organizations connected to that Standing Rock protest are here in Tijuana helping the Migrant Caravan because of the what? There is no reason. It makes no sense. That's why they have to concoct this prophecy of the eagle and the condor and brand it and do all of the things that they are doing. But it's BS. But let me show you. These people are out there and they stick out like a sore thumb. Here's Jessie Sandoval and Wiyaka Eagleman and DuWane Red something. Red River. Here they are. They're in Tijuana. See for yourself, Jessie Sandoval.
We're in Tijuana, man. These are my Lakota family right here. We've been riding with them all day today. And, well, they're here to spread medicine, to heal our people, to be healed by them as well. This is like a fucking...
So, you know, they're there to heal their people, and they're there to be healed by the people. They're in Tijuana, taking up resources, spreading misinformation, playing their drums, and all sorts of crazy nonsense because they think it's their right. They're very imperialistic, conquistador tactics that you're using there for indigenous people that are allied with other indigenous people. And I'm going to show you how disrespectful this Jessie Sandoval is to the host country where she is right now squatting, Mexico, specifically Tijuana. I'm going to show you her videos, trash talking the Mexican people who have done so much to help the caravan, the Mexican authorities, and the shelter where she is also squatting. That shelter is supposed to be for migrants, not for vagrants, not for parasites, not for vultures. But, you know, that's what they're out there doing, and they're selling it as if they're out there helping. Here's one of the ways they're helping. Here's Mr. Wiyaka Eagleman. Birdie Gutierrez is sharing the post. Check it out. She says, Mijo, Wiyaka Eagleman, blowing up balloons for the children at Caritas shelter. There they are at Caritas shelter. By the way, did y'all see down here? Who's that? Why, that's OJ Pitaya. Pitaya Queen, the leader of the LGBTQ caravan. Posting, sending love. That's the shelter that got burned when she was there. She's accused of having something to do with, allegedly, that arson that occurred with her and the LGBTQ caravan was there. Same shelter that they're at now, blowing up balloons in. Of course, they post all this information. I'm now going to show you a video of Evan Duke, who's the founder of Occupy ICE and also the Asylum Seekers Caravan Support Network, a spot where I told you a lot of these groups are converging and sharing information and logistics about what they're going to do with the caravan, how they're going to support the caravan. And in this video, they are talking about, let's take a look. This is a video that shows Evan Duke with Cam McCoy while he was still in Tijuana getting ready to go across the border. Here's Cam.
Hey everyone, Cam here. We're at the border right now.
As soon as 2 hours ago, Otay was still open to go through.
Okay, nice. So we're gonna go check.
Did you catch that?
We're gonna go check the crossing to see what.
As soon as 2 hours ago, Otay was still open to go through.
Okay, nice. So we're gonna go check. We're gonna go check the crossing to see what's going on, and then.
So that's who they're rolling with.
Maybe
Cam McCoy, right? Oops, sorry about that. Cam McCoy and Evan Duke and Myron Dewey. That is who is hanging out together. Now, let me show you that they're preparing, because Evan Duke was out of there in a quick minute. Him and Myron took off and they went down to Texas. They went to Texas. As you can see in this post, they're calling for camps to be created along the U.S.-Mexico border in key cities. Check it out. They're calling for these camps to be set up in cities like McAllen, Laredo, El Paso, and Brownsville. And they're going to be camps where they're going to have their water protectors, veterans, activists, all the same stuff that we saw at Standing Rock, medics, security people, and they're going to be offering all of these services and support to the caravan. So they want you to send them money. They need money to do this work. Look who's tagged down there at the bottom. Lilith Sinclair. She's one of the people that is traveling around in Tijuana right now with many of the folks that I'm going to be talking to you about today. Pay attention. She also posts frequently in Asylum Seekers Support Network, the Caravan Support Network. Okay. So, what kind of messaging are they putting out there? Well, for one, they're telling people that there is mayhem and death. This is Lilith Sinclair's post. I'm going to read some of her post. Lilith Sinclair posted a picture of the playa, of the beach in Tijuana, saying, with a news story from Julio Astorga Informa, talking about how a group of migrants tried to cross by sea into the United States, where that wall kind of goes into the ocean right there on the Tijuana beach. Well, this was posted by Lilith Sinclair with the following lies. She said last night, an unconfirmed, and this is quoted, so who is she quoting? Who is she quoting? Where does the quote end? Okay, it ends all the way down here. I don't know where she got this from, but it's in quotes, okay? So I guess I should say that. Last night, an unconfirmed number of migrants attempted to cross the border along the beach in Tijuana into the United States via the ocean. Within a few minutes, there was a large police presence on both sides of the border wall. Lifeguards from Tijuana were only able to rescue one person. At this time, there are no confirmed reports on how many total attempted to swim to the United States. It is of the utmost importance that U.S. citizens realize the severity of the need that asylum seekers are operating under. I ask every U.S. citizen that sees this to think of the town or city you live in. Think about how unremarkable all the things and places and people you drive by every day are to you. And now I want you to think about the fact that last night, a number of people risked their lives and a few people lost their lives for the opportunity to live in an average U.S. town or city like yours. We as U.S. citizens cannot probably fathom the desperation, fear, and need that would drive a person to dive into a freezing cold and unforgiving seabed in the middle of the night, knowing they will be surrounded by federal agents from 2 different countries if they manage to survive. This is a humanitarian crisis. These people are simply human beings like anyone else, fleeing violence, poverty, starvation, and oppression, and willing to literally risk their lives to do so. Because in situations so dire, it's better to die trying than to live another day in hell. I ask you to keep all the migrants lost at sea in mind today. As you go about an average day of life in the United States, think of the migrants here in Tijuana that we lost last night. And think of the migrants in the Mediterranean Sea drowning to get to Europe. Think of people taking on the ocean in inflatable boats and ask yourself, how bad would life have to be for you to risk an overwhelmingly high possibility of death to get to Europe or the US? And then ask yourself how you feel about abolishing borders and ending human migration being criminalized. So that is a total load of crap. Only one person was recovered from the ocean because only one drunk Honduran jumped in the cold ocean that night. And it was reported consistently all throughout the Tijuana media that only one drunk Honduran jumped into the ocean and they had to be rescued because they got stuck in the underground of the ocean. There is more of that wall, and this guy apparently swam into it the wrong way and got himself stuck there, and they had to pull him out. But There's no dead people. There's no people lost at sea. Okay? Why do they exaggerate? Well, like as I said, we're talking about migrant caravan infiltrators. They want your money. And in order to do that, they need to push your buttons. They need to push your emotional buttons so that you'll go, where's my wallet? How can I help? We need to help these people. But let's be very clear. These people have help. There has been plenty of humanitarian aid. Most of the humanitarian aid that these people have received has come from Mexicans in Mexico who are hosting them, the government of which is caring for them, providing security, providing Marines, providing federal police, providing shelters, foods, churches in Mexico, people in Mexico are donating. And yes, some American organizations are sending things there. But for the most part, those American organizations don't know where exactly to send stuff, don't get accurate information about who's scamming and who is actually helping them. And many of them, because they don't know the language, don't know the culture, and don't understand Tijuana, and don't understand the people of Mexico and how things operate there, are just screwing things up. I don't know if it's because they're purposely trying to sabotage the help that the caravan goers are getting, or because they're naive or stupid, or because they're just accident prone. They're prone to screwing things up. Either way, doesn't matter. These people are dangerous to themselves, to the people of Mexico, and to the caravan. They're just dangerous. They're liars, they're dangerous, and they're frauds. And I'm not going to sugarcoat things. There are people within that caravan. This is now repeated throughout Mexican media and well known because there are many people that have come forward to say this. Caravan goers were bribed, paid, lied to about the circumstances of what they were coming here to do. Guaranteed transport, food, and housing, as well as asylum, as well as crossing the border into the United States. Guaranteed. Something which nobody from a caravan organization standpoint should or could guarantee because they're not in control of American immigration law or policy, and they cannot speed up asylum, get more people's claims processed faster. Either you fund the government organizations in the United States that do that so they have the capacity and the manpower to do what you are demanding of them, or it's just not going to get done. No matter how many hunger strikes they do, no matter how many protests they make at the wall, you're not going to change the policy in the United States by threat, by hook or crook. It just doesn't work that way. Do I think immigration policy in America is unfair, racist even? Sure. Is that going to change it just because I think that? Does it matter whether or not they hold protests every day at the border because they want more amnesty asylum claims processed? No, it doesn't, because they're not going to be able to process any more of them as long as they don't have more staff to do that. So, what is all of this for if we know that the outcome is clear? A handful of people out of this 10,000 or so people waiting for asylum are going to be qualified to get asylum. A handful of those. And the rest of them, the majority of them who do not qualify for asylum, will have to either go home or ask for asylum in Mexico. The new president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, has already said he is not going to deport people. He's not going to round up people from the caravan. They are here in Mexico to stay. That is what he said. He said he's going to put indigenous people first in his policies. So he's not going to kick the caravan out. If you commit crimes, you're going to be processed for your crimes. You're going to be charged under Mexican law, and then you will be deported, because that's how that works. Has there been that? Yes. Hundreds of people have broken the law with a variety of different crimes, from prostitution to drug use, etc. And that has been the reason they got arrested and are now deported. There's been 230 some of those cases. Could be more by now, I don't know. There's also been cases of migrants that have felony records that are wanted either in the U.S., back in their home countries, or even in Mexico. Those people would never qualify for asylum. So guess what? Those people who are part of that caravan, those people are going to try to cross the border. They've actually been doing it. Ever since they got to the border, small groups of people, especially after they failed to charge the border wall the way that they did, after they failed at that attempt, they have been in smaller groups of 5, 2, 3, 10, 12, trying to cross over the border, trying to outrun the border patrol, and they're getting arrested. And then they're getting detained in the United States for trying to come in that way, and they're going to be put in detention centers more than likely, and then they're going to be deported anyway. Mexico is very generously offering asylum to caravan goers who don't have a criminal record and qualify to apply for it. Over 2,000 people are currently awaiting to get visas, to get work visas and asylum in Mexico. More than 600 already have them and are working. They have housing. They're not part of the caravan anymore. They got processed quick. If these people are looking to get work, have asylum, and be in a safe place, Mexico's already offering you that. So, let me just tell you how none of what I just said benefits these infiltrators and their agenda to use the migrant caravan as a weapon, almost as if it were a terroristic threat, because what they're doing is shutting down all of the transport between two countries and all of the commerce between two countries. If you had a group of 10,000 people that showed up at an airport and shut it down at an international airport, you would call that an act of terrorism, wouldn't you? That's exactly what the people that are manipulating these caravans are doing with the caravans. And the people, around 500 or so, that are refusing to leave the first temporary location where they were, in a baseball field called Benito Juarez Sports Center, which was never meant to be a final place for the caravan. It was a temporary spot until they could find a location where they would house people more permanently. They needed to find a location that would accommodate those that were here, those were expected to be here later on, and also the facilities for the Marines, for medical care, for people from the government there to help people apply for asylum in Mexico or in the United States, or to get visas and to work, for job fairs, for school, for all of it, all of the services that they are currently providing to the Mexican people at El Barretal, to the caravan, migrant caravan at El Barretal, the location that they found that meets all of those needs. So why are 500 people still staying at a spot where there's no toilets, there's no porta potties, there's no water, there is no showers, there is no roof? It's going to rain. It's going to rain very hard, and there's going to be raw sewage running through the streets and in that park again. Very, very soon. Why? When the cops have repeatedly told them that they are now holding up commerce in that area because they're not supposed to be taking over the streets and the sidewalks there. The elementary school nearby them cannot open, and the parents will not send their kids to school there because they have a bunch of these vagrants from the migrant caravan wandering in and out of the elementary school using the bathrooms, many of them on drugs, many of them drunk. These people have become a public nuisance, and they're becoming a public hazard because they refuse to go to the shelter where everyone is being housed from the migrant caravan that doesn't have housing somewhere else. And there's 4,000, give or take 1,000 people missing. Where did they go? I guess that these organizers put them somewhere close to the border so that they can call on them and use them as a weapon, like I told you, to run them over to the border and shut down the border whenever they say so. Because that's really what they want. They want to create a violent clash. They want to have the leverage to use this caravan as a weapon to shut down the border whenever they want. This group is also supported by a group called Movimiento Cosecha. Here is a post. Here's a post of Birdie Gutierrez, one of the people promoted so much on Asylum Seeker Support Network, that was created by the administrator, Evan Duke. You may recall he was at Standing Rock. He came with the Veterans Stand for Standing Rock. He's friends with Wesley Clark Jr. Birdie Gutierrez is showing her love for Movimiento Cosecha, for their donations and help with the refugees. Okay? Let's connect all of the dots. All of the dots will be connected here on the Mexican Crossing Lines. So stick with me and I will show you. Movimiento Cosecha has been out there publishing videos. They have a woman that supposedly translates. I don't think her translations are that good. I've been doing it all my life. I speak fluent Spanish. In fact, English is my second language. How am I doing, folks? Did I get English down? I think I did, because y'all can't tell that it's my second language. But if you can imagine, I can speak Spanish better than I can speak the English. None of these folks can, though. And so they sort of translate some of the stuff, and some of it they don't. And you know, I was thinking, maybe she's just not a good translator. Maybe she doesn't understand, so that's why she's not saying things correctly. But maybe it's on purpose. Could be on purpose. Post. As you can see here, maybe I should make this bigger for you. Am I allowed to do that? Yes. Yes, I can. Here you go. Let's make it all big. It says, hunger strike in support of refugee caravan. What is this hunger strike in the support of the refugee caravan for? Huh? Well, asylum seekers camped out at the U.S.-Mexican border waiting to plead their case for asylum have launched a hunger strike. Why are they launching a hunger strike? Look at what it says right there in the header, in the second header. Immigrant leaders from Movimiento Cosecha and asylum seekers from the Central America Exodus. Don't call them the migrant caravan, they say. Don't call them the migrant caravan anymore. They've rebranded themselves. It's called the Exodus now. And they are on a hunger strike outside of the port of entry, Garita Chaparral, to protest what? The Mexican police. The Mexican police blocking their way to the north. That's not what's happening. The Mexican police are stopping them from trying to shut down the border. Damn it, that keeps happening to me. Sorry about that, guys. They're trying to stop them from shutting down the border. That's what they're trying to do. And as I said, if anybody tried to shut down an airport with a group of people that were acting violent and were talking violence, they were speaking violence. We're going to do this by any means necessary. We will use violence if necessary. Acting in violent ways. Putting people in danger, you would call that an act of terrorism, right? Mexico has a right to defend its commerce. Mexico's border was already shut down when they pulled their stupid stunt last weekend, a week ago, for 5 hours, costing both the United States and Mexico, specifically Tijuana, millions of dollars. Neither government, neither country, neither city on each side of that border is going to put up with that BS anymore. And they have every right to stop these people from doing that. Every right. So just know what that Movimiento Cosecha's up to, what they're doing, because they're saying that this hunger strike, they're saying that it's because the cops, the bad cops, they won't let us do the thing. No, that's not true. Mexico is applying for helping the migrants, especially those that are at the Barretal. They used to have another spot right there at the Benito Juarez Sports Center before, but everything, all of the support has now been moved to the right shelter, to the correct shelter, to the approved shelter. I told you a long time ago, days before they were actually moved to the new shelter, that the other one was temporary, that the government there was looking for a spot that they had been since the people arrived in their town, and that one of the reporters I've been following, Alfredo Alvarez, had done an interview with those government entities while they were surveying El Barretal and talking about what they needed to do to get it ready. They're still working on stuff in that place, but it's shaping up quick because we're Mexicans, not Mexicans. So they get stuff done fast, right? They set up a kitchen like that. They painted the place, cleaned it up, got it all ready. Like that. That's the spot where all of the aid and support went. And because it's inside, because it's all in buildings, right? In warehouses, in commercial spaces, inside of a gated area, they can control who comes in and who goes out. They can make sure that the migrants' possessions inside are safe, that they can keep all of the men separate from the women and children, that they can keep families together, all in separate spaces, and all of them without infringing upon each other's privacy or having outsiders infringe upon the caravan's privacy. They can also make sure that they don't bring in anything that is contraband, like drugs or other things that would be contraband. And that's something that you think you would want, right? They're just providing security for the migrant caravan at a much better location for it to be provided. But these infiltrators don't want that. These people that are from the United States, okay? They're not from Central America. They're not part of the caravan, but their nose is right square in the middle of this caravan's business. They're not just infiltrators. They're manipulators, and they are lying to the people in the caravan to keep them from getting the assistance that they need from the Mexican government at El Barretal shelter. I'm going to show you that. So, all of these demands that are being made by the hunger strikers, I don't even know if they're really hunger striking, but whatever. I'm not trying to be callous, guys. I know there's a lot of you that think I'm like heartless or callous. Listen, I'm a Mexican crossing lines. I have people in my family that are migrant. I have people in my family that are undocumented. Believe me, if somebody can sympathize with the plight of these people, it is me. And I do. Now see if you can.
Now you're right. Yes, here it is.
I don't know what just happened. I don't know what happened. But I'm sorry about that. Hold on a second. You'll give me a second. I don't want to be weird, but I have to take this off because it's hot. Ugh. Okay. So my live stream just went dead. I don't know. Just like the whole screen went black, the app shut down. Boom. So part 2 coming up. Let me just find my spot here. Ugh. You're all flustered. Like, what happened? Now we have to build our audience back up again because I don't want you to miss what I'm saying. Where was I? I was talking about the hunger strike, right? So the hunger strike is supposed to be so that they can process more asylum claims. It's supposed to be so that the police, these are allegations they're making against the Mexican police, stopped arbitrarily rounding people up and deporting them. That's not happening. They're hunger striking for a thing that's not happening. They're all of the things that they're hunger striking for cannot happen or are not happening. So why are they hunger striking? It doesn't even make sense. Plus, when they announced their hunger strike, they changed up who was hunger striking and what they were hunger striking about so much, it doesn't even sound real to me. Seems like a bunch of hogwash. They're also hunger striking because they claim that they want to create a commission that meets with the people of the caravan and negotiate solutions for those people who want to stay in Mexico. Mexico's already doing that. Mexico's already doing that. So again, all of the things I see on this hunger strike thing seem to me like a ridiculous reason to be hunger striking, because part of it is already happening. Part of it will never happen, like increasing the number of asylum claims that are processed. Again, you know how you do that? The United States would have to do it because they're the ones that are processing those claims. And they would have to have more people to do it. They're not just going to magically just divert all of their time and attention from other places to put it into processing more asylum claims when they don't have the manpower or the means to do it. Okay? So, let's continue. For those of you who are just joining in, this is part two of a... I started, I was going to just do one part, but the live stream went down. But so this is part 2 of Migrant Caravan Infiltrators. I'm talking about the Migrant Caravan. I did shows in Spanish. Saludos a todos los hispanohablantes en México, a mi familia, a la gente de Tijuana que me escucha. Tengo muchos programas en español. Pueden ir a ver todo eso en YouTube, en Duke 1517. Vean el programa que hice en español sobre este tema que se llama Infiltrados en la Caravana Migrante. So I already did a Spanish show on this. If you want to see it in Spanish, it's called the same thing in Spanish. You can find it on my Facebook. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on my Twitter. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Share it. I am glad that the people of Tijuana are. I'll tell you about that. It's kind of exciting. So anyway... in the past, I have told you that the LGBTQIA caravan has been supported by and is led by a woman named Pitaya Queen, a trans woman named Pitaya Queen, who has been hiding her identity as a Mexican-American middle-class person and telling people that she is Honduran and a refugee and part of the caravan. Why is she spreading lies about herself? So that she has the moral authority with which to lead this caravan and make demands and also pull on the heartstrings of donors, which she has been doing. They rented a very nice villa, an Airbnb. They wreaked all sorts of havoc. They're wanted for crimes in Mexico, including sex trafficking and drug use. So that's one of the people Birdie Gutierrez and the Asylum Seeker Support Network has been supporting out there. And let me tell you that there are other people in the LGBTQ caravan that are part of this migrant caravan that was all together with the caravan in the beginning that have been broken off because they broke the LGBTQ caravan off from the rest of the caravan, supposedly for their security, but also to milk individual funds for individual groups within the caravan. That's how they blow up the funding. But they also just dumped a bunch of people in Mexico City and left them behind and went on to other cities in Mexico throughout Baja California and now in Tijuana and in Nogales, committing crimes and doing things that really made the caravan, but also specifically the LGBTQ caravan, look horrible in Mexico. And of course, not everyone that's in that caravan is a horrible person. Some of the leadership definitely is, and they're doing horrible things in Mexico, but everybody is paying for these things that Pitaya Queen and others of these infiltrators have been doing. A lot of folks are very, black and white about this caravan. Some of them are, xenophobic, racist. They don't like Mexicans. They don't like migrants. They're Trump supporters. They want strong security. They believe in the wall. All that stuff. And they just have that bias. So they're not willing to hear what's really happening with this caravan. On the other hand, there's the other side, the liberals, the progressives, who are, have this bleeding heart for this caravan and refuse to believe that there are murderers and criminals within the caravan. Recently, they caught a guy that was trying to cross into the United States who was a convicted murderer. I'm not just making this up. I'm not just saying this stuff. You can look this up yourselves, okay? It's been reported in Tijuana. It's been reported in the United States. It's Googleable. And he was traveling with the caravan because he was hoping to blend in. You think that's the only guy that's doing that? I can guarantee you it's not, because there's a bunch of people trying to cross the border that would otherwise not qualify for amnesty. They would not qualify to be able to stay in Mexico, and they know it. They're wanted by the law, so they're going to splinter off from the caravan and go their own way. Some of those are among those 4,000 that are missing. I don't care how it sounds. I'm going to just not sugarcoat stuff and tell you the whole truth so that you can make an informed decision. By the way, that is a tagline that these infiltrators are using. Don't get your information from anybody but me. You got to be very careful where you're getting your information, they say. They don't speak Spanish. They don't know Tijuana. They don't know Mexicans. They don't know our traditions, our ways, our culture, nothing about that. They don't know anything about that, but you should listen to them and only them. Because if you listen to other people, you might get conflicting information. Actually, if you listen to any of the media in Tijuana, you'll get conflicting information because they're lying. And a lot of the American media, I'm sorry to say, have done a very bad job of sending people that actually speak Spanish so that they can really interact with folks and find out what the hell's going on. So that's one big problem with American media. But the other thing about American media is that since they don't understand what's really going on, they are getting a lot of the information wrong. They're giving you bits and pieces of a puzzle, but they're not giving you the full picture. And also, I think they're falling for a lot of the propaganda that's coming from the right and from the left. The extremes of that propaganda is what is getting filtered through to your media. And unfortunately, that is a very distorted picture of what's actually happening. But I'm focusing on today's show about infiltrators in this caravan that are wreaking havoc in Mexico, disrespecting Mexico, the hosts of this caravan that have frankly bent over backwards and done everything they possibly can to help these folks. And they're getting shat upon. And that is not fair. So, one of the folks that is doing this is Movimiento Cosecha. This group I've been telling you about with their, support, their bad translations, their hunger strike. They're putting out this information out there that makes it seem like the cops, the Mexican cops, are evil. They're doing so much bad to this caravan. Nothing could be further from the truth. You can't compare the cops in the United States to the cops in Mexico because they're two different countries. Let's just start with that. Our laws are different in Mexico. The legal system is different in Mexico. Prisons, everything works differently. It's very, very complicated. So, here's a post I want you to take a look at. And here, they are talking about donation drives for the refugees. There's so many of these GoFundMes, so many of these donation drives. They want you to give money, money, money. They want your money. And a lot of people are giving. They are giving. They're giving money. Look, donate. Donate. Donate for the caravan. Where's it going? Bernie's Coffee House in Los Angeles, California. Oh, why here? All of the California connections. Just like all those people from Standing Rock. Jane Fonda, Francis Fisher. They're posting about this. They're cross-posting a lot of this junk. They're associated with all of this. They are. They're right in the thick of it, right in the middle. Because of course they would be, right? And this is great. Here's Birdie Gutierrez talking about how in this post, right in this post, asking for donations. Birdie Gutierrez is talking about the Border Patrol. And they're all complaining about how they're grabbing their donations and they're going over the border, and those bastards at the border are preventing them from bringing donations to the caravan. What part of the caravan are they bringing donations and support to? Because it's fractured, as I've told you. There are some dissidents that are refusing to leave the Deportivo Benito Juarez area, which has now been shut down. It is unsafe and unhealthy for them to be there. They're causing harm to the neighborhood at this point, but they're refusing to leave because it's their stronghold for them to run over and shut down the border, terrorist style like. And that's exactly who Birdie Gutierrez is making sure continues to get support, because they don't have toilets, they don't have potable water, they don't have anything there anymore, right? And the cops are trying to shoot people, especially those that are openly drunk, openly causing problems out there. They're getting themselves into trouble. They're getting arrested if they are doing anything that's disruptive, okay? So, they're saying those bastards are corrupt. Here at the Tijuana border, we don't ever say that we're taking donations into Tijuana. You have to try to be as inconspicuous as possible. It's better to go in the evening and put everything in a black trash bag too. Never have donations above the window where they can clearly be visible. And buy a few groceries like chips and soda and say you're going across to have some fun and buy gifts. Why would you be lying to border authorities? Border authorities, border patrol. Catch this if you can. Check the names of these people bringing in donations. Birdie Gutierrez is lying to you when she crosses the border. For some reason, I don't know why she would have to lie. If you're bringing in humanitarian aid and you're taking it to the right place, like El Barretal, the Mexican authorities would be thrilled with that. So they wouldn't have to foot the bill by themselves. But Birdie's not doing that. Oh no! Birdie's out there and her pals because they're trying to be disruptive. They're trying to shut down the border. They're trying to act like terrorists. Let me show you why I am calling them thusly. Okay? We were told by the caravan organizers and leaders and caravan goers that last week when they wanted to go and stand by the wall, they were just going to plead their case for amnesty. They just wanted to show Trump, We're here, right? If they stand closer to the border wall, Trump can hear him better. It's like Horton hears a who. Oh, I hear him now. They're standing right next to the border wall crying. What? Say what? You want asylum for Christmas? As if that's even going to work. But it's a load of hogwash because their intent was never to just peacefully go and march by the wall. They intended to cause a violent clash with Border Patrol. Not all of them. Not everyone in the migrant caravan is evil. Some of them are innocent bystanders. They got caught up in the nonsense that the rest of these organizers and infiltrators are doing, much the same way that happened in Standing Rock. But that doesn't change the fact that they are lying about their true intent. These flyers were recently found at that park that they refused to leave, the first shelter location that is now closed due to health reasons, Benito Juárez Deportivo. These flyers are by any means necessary propaganda, printed from their page at BAMN.com. You may recall that their leader, I can't remember her first name, but her last name is Viyaka, shut down a event where Milo Yiannopoulos was going to speak at Berkeley a couple of years ago, if you will recall. And they use violence to fight fascists. You know who else is an anti-fascist that fights against Nazis? Evan Duke, with the Veterans Stand for Standing Rock, the one that started the Asylum Seeker Support Network. Yeah, and they're connected, Evan Duke and BAM. And this organization is in Tijuana. And what do they say? What do they want to do? Well, according to their website and the flyer that they've been circulating down there, they are saying, I'm going to show you the flyer real quick. Here's the flyer so you can see, right? This is in Spanish, but it is also available in English. All you got to do is click right there on the English and it comes up. What does it say? Open it up. They're talking about the border and they mean open it up for all of the caravan. No checking anybody's names, no checking anybody's criminal history, no checking if they qualify for asylum. Open up the damn wall. Open it right now. Open the border or we'll shut it down. There it is, folks. That's a threat. If I've ever seen one, that is a terroristic threat. They are threatening to shut down the border. It says everyone must be let in. Mexicans and Americans, stand with us. What are their demands? Take a look. Take a look for yourself what they're demanding. Asylum for all. Let the caravan in. No child separation, no detention, no deportations. Shut down immigrant concentration camps. Note that word. Put a pin right there in that word. Save it for later. I'm going to show you how they're escalating the rhetoric around the shelters where these folks are staying. And let me share with you, it's all lies. It's not true. It says right there, shut down immigration concentration camps. The U.S., Mexico must demand that the U.S. accept asylum seekers now. Oh, by the way, no remain in Mexico policy. No to the remain in Mexico policy. It's a possibility, not a policy. If people qualify and want to stay in Mexico, then they can apply. And the Mexican president has said he won't deport people if they're not criminals. And he will allow them to apply for visas to work and stay in Mexico. What is this militant no remaining in Mexico policy BS? They don't want people to leave the caravan. And Mexico is offering them an opportunity. They don't want people to have opportunities. They don't want people to get housing and jobs. They don't want people to get asylum and be able to settle down and have safety from the violence they're fleeing from. They want to make sure they stay with the caravan by any means necessary. And then they say Mexico must demand from the U.S. You think that Mexico's going to demand anything from the U.S. and get it by demanding it? You think that's how things work? And they say that the Mexican government should not be doing Trump's dirty work. They're implying that the Mexican government is currently doing Trump's dirty work. They're not. They're following their laws. They're giving humanitarian aid to the people in this caravan. That's it. They say no to concentration camps at the Mexican border. Trump must go or be removed by any means necessary. That's what they want. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're promoting. That doesn't sound nonviolent and peaceful, does it? Does that sound nonviolent and peaceful to you? Does that sound like people that are just prayerfully walking up to a gate to beg to, make a case for themselves? To try to get Trump to listen to their cry for help? No. That sounds like some militant planning to shut down the border. I say Mexico has every right to protect themselves from that. One of the leaders in the group BAMN that is connected to the Asylum Seeker Support Network in working and in Tijuana right now, okay, with all these people, is this lady named Jessica Prozinski. Take a look. That's her Facebook page. Jessica Prozinski is out there. She's an Asylum Seeker Support Network, and she is part of this nonsense. Okay? Sorry, I'm so low tech today. But, sometimes, see how important Duke is? See how much he does? Although I will say, I do have my backup. I got Nemo helping. Right, Nemo? Here's Jessica Prozinski. I'm going to show you one of her posts where she is calling for unity in the resistance movement. She says, last night I was brought to my attention that there's political attacks circulating on Facebook against an organization that Stop Trunk Ann Arbor works in coalition with. By any means necessary. BAM. STAA, Stop Trump Ann Arbor, was painted in negative terms by extension because of our willingness to work with BAM. Distressingly, these statements were made by fellow activists. I am writing to make a plea for more unity and less divisiveness in our movement. The attacks referenced an email sent by BAM in which BAM reportedly said people should not go to check-ins with ICE. I talked to BAM leaders to clarify their position, and their position remains people should first get legal advice before going to check in with ICE. I'm not sure if BAM misstated their position in an email or if others are misrepresenting what was said in an email. In either case, the level of vitriol directed against BAM in the statements on their Facebook is unwarranted, and it's harmful to our movement. Just so you can see, she is definitely associated with this group. Okay? There's a post. And now I'm going to show you another one. Sit tight with me for a second here. Where she's talking about shutting down BAM in Detroit. Okay, so the post here, as you can see, is BAM, the other organizations, BAM plus other organizations shut down Detroit ICE office with protests. And what does she say in her post? We shut down the Detroit ICE field office today. She is with BAM. We barricaded the entrances, put our bodies in the driveway. All appointments got canceled, which means no one will be detained in ICE check-in. And CBP, that's Border Patrol, was denied access to the parking lot and building. No arrests, just us. Join us and see how long we can keep it going. Clear? Here she is posting, along with Birdie Gutierrez, in Asylum Seekers. There it is. The GoFundMe for Birdie Gutierrez, right? And she's talking about asylum seekers right there in her post. Let's make this bigger so you can see it and I can see it. It's hard to read. One of our top priorities as the resistant movement right now should be to aid the refugee caravan that Trump is demonizing. They're exhausted and being preyed upon by criminal gangs. Latest news I've heard, refugees have elected leaders and have made democratic decisions to try to get to California. There are some buses helping them to get to Tijuana, across the border from San Diego. Fundraiser is for supplies for them once they get to Tijuana. One of our battles will be to get asylum seekers in California in a timely manner. We have to take care of them while we fight that out. She is a frequent poster in Asylum Seekers. And you can see here who all else of the people I've been talking about are admins on this page, Asylum Seekers, Caravan Support Network. Why, it's DuWane Redwater, the guy that is with Wiyaka Eagleman, both of Standing Rock and connected to the Indigenous Environmental Network. And they're in Tijuana right now with playing their drums. They're at shelters, blowing up balloons for kids with Aerol medicine. Remember I showed you that Evan Duke was raising money for Aerol medicine, that Asylum Seeker Support Network was posting their GoFundMes, their send me money. Here's Wiyaka Eagleman. He's also an admin on this page. The lady lying about the people in the ocean, Lilith Sinclair, there she is. Is that a Russian? Is there a Russian on this page, admin? I don't know what's going on, but there's Evan Duke. Okay. So, I want you to see how radical their speech is. This is Evan Duke talking about the caravan migrants shelters. He's referencing, this is a guy that's in posting stuff in Asylum Seekers, like this. And of course, they've been talking about the caravans shelters being like concentration camps. Here's another analogy where he's posting about the anarchist case against borders, a response to Angela Nagel's ahistoric revisionism. Talking about Angels-sur-Mer and the way that this Spanish anti-fascist camp for Spanish anti-fascists and civilians after General Franco's forces ended the Civil War and they were killed. They died by the thousands, hypothermia, dysentery. They kept them fenced up. It was horrible. Pay attention to that because these people are trying to make it seem as if the very nice shelter where they are now, the conditions that they were in and the conditions that they're in now are night and day apart. Yet, they're still blaming Mexican authorities for having provided them the temporary shelter that they did, as if they somehow could have done more to put them in a permanent shelter when they didn't have a space for them yet. It's all about blaming Mexico and Mexicans for everything they've done and making sure that people that are watching believe they've been doing it wrong. Mexican and Mexico, Mexicans are doing it wrong. And they're doing a bad job. And they're hurting the caravan. And the only people that can help the caravan goers are these Americans. They're the only ones. You have to believe them. So, here I want to show you a post by one of the people that are posting inside of that caravan support network, the Asylum Seekers Caravan Support Network I've been talking about. I'm showing you all of the infiltrators that are manipulating this caravan and how dangerous that is for the caravan on my show today. This is part 2. So if you missed part 1, you'll have to go back and see the beginning of that. You know, the people posting. This is a poster in that Asylum Seekers. It's called Activism Actually. And you see that they're promoting that Eagle and Condor hashtag that Evan Duke and Myron Dewey have been sharing, and they're talking about Evan Duke and Myron Dewey leaving, branching off, heading to Arizona. I showed you they went to Arizona and that they were now in Texas. I showed you that they're doing their camps all along the Texas border. They were recently filming at the Donna Bridge in Brownsville, Texas, along with some group that's there. And they're also at some butterfly sanctuary where Myron and Evan keep taking lots and lots of pictures of a section of border fence. Let me wet my whistle here. Oh, it is open. There's just a lot of ice in there. I'm drinking Jamaica, if you're wondering. It is hibiscus tea. And it is very cold. Ooh. Oh. So, excuse me. It froze my throat. Let me show you a post by Digital Smoke Signals. Recently, when I was telling you about the Standing Rock phonies and their frauds, their fraudulent campaigns, like the one where Marcus Mitchell was raising thousands of dollars for 2 fake gunshot wounds to the chest that were promoted by all sorts of Standing Rock phonies, aka they called themselves leaders, like John Gonzalez and Joy Braun and Laura Christina Livingston Berger, aka Lally B, who claims to be a medic. She's not. I showed you her whole background. All of those people were lying in support of Marcus, Dan the Glass Man, Orlando Cruz, Mitra Sin, all of them connected to Standing Rock, promoting a fake fundraiser to defraud people of thousands of dollars, making up out of whole cloth 2 gunshot wound injuries that never occurred. And I proved to you that it was all a scam, right? Immediately they went on to their next scam. And the next scam, I told you, Louis Monsivice was finding dead people by the Rio Grande, and he was telling you he was a coyote. And now he's communicating with Myron. Here he is. Remember, I told you, that guy's really a stuntman. He's literally an extra in movies and a stuntman for Machete, Danny Trejo. Here's Digital Smoke Signals talking about the Butterfly Sanctuary, their Mission, Texas place. There's Louis Monsivice. And he says, speak with Mariana Trevino Wright. She runs the center and has been part of the frontline battle. Frontline battle? You've done too many stunts, Louis. You've hit your head too hard. And he also says, this is a new construction zone. So there he is. Of course, no podía faltar Monsivice, right? He had to be in there somewhere. I wonder if he's learned any new Spanish words. Remember how he was saying Rio Grande like he was on a Taco Bell commercial? These clowns would be amusing if they weren't so damn dangerous, you know? They would be. I would just be able to laugh at them, but they are putting people's lives at risk with the stupid stunts they pull. And that's not cool. So, you know, I have to expose them. What else is Dewey into these days? Well, guess what? There's Indian drummers now in Tijuana. There are now Burning Man-like music events and dancers down performing for the caravan, you know, to lift their spirits. There is now medics headed down to build camps along the border to provide them support, just like at Standing Rock. And there's also going to be lawyers. Yes, lawyers, because we have to raise money, right? For the lawyers, for the help. And here, Digital Smoke Signals is promoting. Digital Smoke Signals is promoting volunteer opportunities. Hashtag Eagle and Condor Asylum Seekers Caravan. What are they promoting? The National Lawyers Guild International Committee volunteer to provide emergency legal observer support at the border. The National Lawyers Guild and the AOL is Al Otro Lado Legal Observer Emergency Border Response. Al Otro Lado has been associated with Pitaya Queen. Pitaya Queen and all of the people that I told you were with the LGBTQIA caravan, led by Pitaya Queen. And I told you the connections that she has supporting her, which all go back to these Antifa-connected organizations from here at Standing Rock, from here in the United States. Okay? Go back and watch my other shows about these con men, these crooks. Today I am pointing out all these infiltrators to you that are infiltrating the caravan because they are dangerous and they're bad news. And one of them, believe it or not, is associated with TYT. No podía faltar, right? Had to make their entrance. I showed this before. I've showed this before. I'm going to show it again. This guy here is named Mark Lane. He works for TYT. There he is with the LGBTQIA caravan. And there's Birdie Gutierrez, who's been promoting and supporting the LGBTQIA caravan, and specifically Pitaya Queen. Remember, Pitaya Queen is being accused of trafficking the people that she's supposed to be bringing across, trafficking them sexually, exploiting them financially, abusing them, and she's also been accused of discriminating against them, about lying about her identity, and of course, she's lying about her connections. I told you she's using drugs in rehab shelters in Tijuana that are meant for rehabilitating people on drugs. She's showed up, and I have been sent video of that. I talked about it on my show about Pitaya Queen. I talked to the people that ran the shelter that she was kicked out of for her drug use. So, and she actually admits in the video, so what if I smoke a doob? I ain't forcing any of these people to smoke it. That's how she came off to the... Man, she stole the work of Diversidad Sin Fronteras. She stole their work. She plagiarized their work. She stole their page, a Mexican organization for LGBTQ rights. She stole it so that she could appear to be associated with that organization. And I showed you in my show, she's not. The person that started that organization called her out and said she's a liar. You'll have to go back and watch that show. Nemo, drop that show in Spanish and in English in the comments right now so that folks can go watch it later. You got to see this show. You got to see it. It's really good. I've been doing it in Spanish, and it is working, folks. I'm telling the Mexican people. The show I'm doing for y'all right now in English, I already did it in Spanish for Mexicans several days ago. They got this information already. Although, I will say I'm going to be showing more things on this show since 2 days have passed since my Mexican show, my Spanish show, excuse me. And I gotta update you, right? You need to know. So here is proof that Lane works for TYT, because y'all know I got receipts for you. There's Mark Lane saying, looks like Tijuana PD is getting ready to do something, and he is tagged in with Gina Kim, who, as you can see, is the producer at The Young Turks. And they're in Tijuana filming one of the protests against the caravan. Okay? See? And I know I'm going over some things I probably showed you before, but it's important for you to see because Mark Lane is showing up everywhere. Remember, Mark Lane works for TYT, and you remember how they were involved at Standing Rock. Notice how they already have their ready-made media with their ready-made propaganda message, standing and waiting, standing by in Tijuana to capture and send the message that whoever is organizing all this crap wants you to hear. That's what they're there to do. They're not there to tell you the truth. They're there to spin propaganda for the people that are organizing this nonsense. And here he is in an article, Helping the Central American Migrants, the Do's and the Don'ts. And this Mark Lane from TYT is the one that's going to tell you what the do's and the don'ts are. What? Why? Why him? What qualifies this guy above the Mexican people? What qualifies this guy above the Mexican government that are actually hosting and having to take care of most of this? People like this guy are running around taking credit for what the Mexican government is doing and also throwing shade at the Mexican government and lying about what the Mexican government is doing. It's very divisive. It is ugly. It is anti-indigenous. It is racist. It is imperialistic. It is conquistador-style terrorist tactics, and I am calling this out. It's not going to happen on my watch. Nope. So here it is. Check It by Peter Rowe, contact reporter. And there's Mark Lane getting some stuff out of the back of a car. Says he is he is from Minority Humanitarian Foundation. It doesn't say he's a reporter with TYT. It doesn't say he's a cameraman with TYT. It doesn't say he is, or he's listed as Minority Humanitarian Foundation, handing out supplies at a migrant shelter in the Matamoros neighborhood. So they're by the Barretal because that's in the Matamoros neighborhood of Tijuana. So they've been going to the second shelter to hand out stuff. Help is on the way, but is it the right sort of help? And is it going to help the right people? Roughly 6,200 Central Americans seekers in Tijuana. Those are the critical questions. This Darren Longman, co-president of the International Health Collective, a nonprofit that provides basic healthcare services in Baja, says, people are trading off who gets wet. No, they're not. No, nobody needs to get wet. There is plenty of room inside of El Barretal for everyone to get shelter. Some people are choosing to stay in the plaza, cannot go into the shelter because they're not part of the caravan. As I'm going to show you, Jessie Sandoval and a lot of these people that went over to the shelter, the new shelter, which has security and is closed off to anyone that's not part of the caravan, that's what really pissed off these people because they thought they were just going to come and go and organize and do what they wanted, but not in the place rented by the Mexican government. The Mexican government is the one footing the bill. They are rightfully the property managers of the place they're paying for, so you don't have a say in what goes on in El Barretal, much to your chagrin. And that is why they don't want people to stay there. But they are also spreading lies and misinformation about what's going on, and they are the voice piece. They are making themselves the voice piece for what's really happening in Mexico. Look how many articles. Look how many articles this guy appears in if you just type in Mark Lane. Look how many articles he is in. Look at it. He is making himself the authority. He's going to be the authority. A white dude. He'll tell you exactly what the Mexican people think, what they need, how you can help the caravan best. That's what he wants you to believe. That's what they all want you to believe. All of these people spreading lies and misinformation. I want to show you another video. This one is by Unicorn Riot. They're one of the platforms that was out at Standing Rock almost from day one. Now they're out in Tijuana. They keep going from one shelter to the other, saying repeatedly what the propaganda is. And that is, people don't want to leave here. They're very worried. They're concerned because they say that they're sticking them up in this place that's very, very far away. And they're concerned because, you know, the Mexican government is doing this to them on purpose. We think that's the reason that they're doing this on purpose, to keep them far away from the border wall, which means it's harder for them to apply for asylum. No, it's not. It has nothing. The distance that you are from the border wall has nothing to do with whether or not you qualify for asylum. Zero things. And it's a bunch of hogwash, but that's the lie they're peddling, okay? And so here's Unicorn Riot spreading lies. They do it bajita la mano, as we say in Spanish. They do it, you know, on the down low. They're just trying to give you correct information, and that's what they've heard. Word is, nobody wants to go up to El Barretal because that place is just not, there's so many things wrong with it. People don't really want to go there, and he doesn't blame them. Lorenzo doesn't blame them. Lorenzo doesn't speak Spanish to save his life. It's pretty horrible Spanish that he's speaking, but he knows what's going on in Mexico. There's Unicorn Riot, bringing you the faux news.
Everybody, this is Lorenzo with Unicorn Riot. We're still here in Tijuana, Mexico at the Benito Juarez Center, which is now one of the different migrant centers here in Tijuana, Mexico. As you can see, all these tents here are now along this road, and that's because for a few days it was raining. It was pouring rain here, and the encampment, we're going to go take a look at it, is basically just like a lot of mud. A lot of people's stuff got wet, and so they kind of looks like they pulled a lot of it onto the street because the concrete wouldn't turn to mud. And now the camp is kind of right here. You can see lots of people still lively. Another thing's been going on is up ahead here, we're walking towards a series of buses. Those buses are going to a different migrant shelter called like the Birdie Gutierrez. From my understanding, there's over 1,000 people have been moved over there, but not everybody wants to move. And so there's been a lot of worry we're hearing of people being moved and people wanting to stay here. And so...
That's the best. Oh, he drops the microphone thing.
Mic broke.
That was hilarious. Whoops.
Can you hear me?
There's Wiyaka Eagleman.
This was loose.
You see that?
Anyways, yeah, so you see people are eating food. They're eating.
Did you see that?
Over here, it looks like there's a small circle of people. There's been also a lot of like preachers coming through, bringing like speakers, and circles of Christians would come together and pray together as they sort of wait here in stasis, wondering what's coming next. I also had another gentleman who I've seen a few days now, another person come up to me and he told me that he is now working in Tijuana. He has a visa here to work, and he's doing his best to kind of save money and try to get a little bit of apartment and just continue working. So everyone's sort of doing what they feel is fit. The other thing too today was there was a lot of rumors of a march. I'm sure if you're watching on the internet, you're probably hearing that too. We had heard about it. We don't like to share rumors, so we never really shared anything about it. We just kind of wondered if it was going to happen. Even when we were crossing the border, the people at the border, they were checking our passports. We're like, is there a march today? You all know, you're reporters. And they're like, well, we don't know. And they told us there's like police everywhere. And so a lot of people heard about that march that was supposed to happen, but then it didn't happen. And from my understanding, I feel like a lot of folks here were just sort of like, kind of just trying to figure out what they're going to do next. Like, there wasn't a lot of people talking about marches. And you can see over here, this bus right now, there's a line of folks who are getting on it. There was 4 of them before. I don't know if all 4 were filled. I didn't see them. I did see one of them leave, and it was full when it left, so that's for sure. Again, we're here in Tijuana, Mexico, where the caravans have been sort of sheltered in this area for a while now, but now it looks like the city and the state is trying to move everybody to a new location.
Man, what a load up. Let me tell you something. His doublespeak gives a lot away, right? Because he's telling you, on the one hand, he's like, oh, a lot of these people don't want to leave. They're just waiting in stasis. No, they're not. Those people have been told they can't stay there anymore. You don't have to go to the other shelter, but you can't stay here. You know, this is not zoned for you to just be taking over the street. This is just like a hostile takeover of the street. They were inside of a baseball field that is now covered in black water. If you don't know what that is, that's raw sewage from the rain. They have problems there with their drainage in Tijuana. It's going to rain again real soon. So folks were being told that if they got on the buses by organizers, and it was repeated by media people, that people are worried if they got on the buses, they would get deported. That wasn't happening. It's never happened. It's not happening. But they're being told that to keep them there. Some of those people, I believe, actually are afraid. They've actually been manipulated. They don't know what to believe. But now, as the days have gone by, as more and more news, video, interviews, footage, stories, pictures of all of the amenities that are at El Barretal and how well people are doing there, there really is no excuse. There's zero excuses for the 500 or so remaining people that are there to say they're scared of what's going to happen at the big bad Barretal because they've seen enough to know better. They were using that as an excuse to stay. Oh, we can't go over there because we don't know. Now you know, and now you're just lying. Now you're just lying because you need an excuse to stay at the location where you will be mobilized in an instant to go and try to shut down the border with your infiltrating friends and infiltrating leaders. But you know what? That protest that they talked about, that he's like, everyone was asking us, even the police and the border patrol were asking us when we were coming over, you're reporters, you should know. You know why? Because the cops know that the people that are going to plan actions and do things, they invite the reporters to be there. People like him are notified ahead of time. Something's going down. Get down here. Why do you think they magically all appear at the same spot? You think they had a vision of what tomorrow will bring? They just happened to be in the right spot at the right time? Hell to the no! They are tipped off. But they don't want to say that they knew that there was an action going down. And I'm about to show you that they had that flyer that they passed out. They passed it out the day before he got there when they were going to do that action on December 1st. But the government found out. Because guess what? I found out. I found out ahead of time. I found out the night before when they were passing these out in the camp in the evening. I found out and I sent it to the police. I sent it to different news organizations in Mexico. I sent it to everybody I could. And it spread. By the evening, this is November 30th, the day before they had planned this march to close down the bridge, to close down the pass. The mayor in Tijuana held an emergency meeting. He held an emergency meeting and he told the whole city, I have ordered the federal police to do this. He had a round table full of government functionaries and people that run the shelter, everything. And they got together and they went, we're going to shut this down. And he held up the paper. The one I sent to reporters, The mayor was holding it up in his press message to the city of Tijuana. And he said, guess what, infiltrators? Guess what, migrant caravanners who are planning this violent attack on our border passage? You're not going to get what you want. I am putting a stop to it now. Se les cebó, cabrones. That's what happened. That's what happened to Unicorn Riot over here. It's not that they heard rumors, but they don't like to spread rumors. He's full of crap. That's all they do is spread rumors and lies. But the truth is, it didn't go down because Mexicans are onto you. Mexicans are onto you. I sent him your name too, Lorenzo. Be careful. They're paying really close attention to who's lying to the migrant caravan now. You should be very careful about lying to the authorities and messing around and doing criminal stuff in Mexico, because it ain't like here. It ain't going to be like it was in Morton County. It ain't going to be like it was at Standing Rock, no matter how many memes you put together and throw on the internet. You're in Mexico, baby. You're in Mexico. And, homie, don't play that. So you better watch out. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not shout. I'm telling you why. The Mexicans authorities are on to you. Be careful. Let me tell you that even though Myron, Dewey, and Evan Duke are out there playing with the butterflies at the border in Texas, planning to put up their camps, they left someone behind that is live streaming on digital smoke signals, and that person is Dan Gaskin. Here is digital smoke signals at the border at this event that I told you.
Get off the bus, we greet them, we give them a welcome. This is the first time that they are getting in contact with someone, and the contact that we want to make with them is to greet them. And
first, the refugees. Right. This is from descendants of the Mayflower that I'm told. Yeah. And, you know, they were political or religious refugees.
We're going to have to hop down here to get to this.
They're at a border crossing here.
Is that okay?
Yeah. You see that? Donna Rio Bravo International Bridge.
But see, that's the bridge right there.
Okay. So,
I've also sent Myron's image information, Evan Duke's image and information locations to the authorities in Tijuana and in Texas. Merry Christmas! Here's Mr. Gaskin spreading his lies. You can see him posting in the Caravan Support Network, the Asylum Secret Caravan Support Network, on behalf of Digital Smoke Signals. He's talking about the current hunger strikes, right? So I just wanted to show you he is posting with and for Digital Smokes Signals. Yep, that's the same one. Now, in order to keep migrants outside the sports center, the Benito Juarez Sports Center, where they are no longer welcome and they're not supposed to be staying, these groups are diverting donations over to a different place. They're not taking them to El Barretal. They're not taking them to the location where the majority of people are now. It's in a shelter with roofs, with rooms, with showers, with the new center at El Barretal in the district of Matamoros in Tijuana has all of the amenities and the space needed for these caravan goers and even more to come. The government is paying the rent. The Marines of Mexico are there feeding folks, keeping people safe. The federal police are there. The people are all registered. They're helping them. They apply for asylum in Mexico or the United States, whichever they prefer. They're also giving them options to repatriate back to their country if they choose to leave. Many of them feel they were lied to and want to. But the folks that are at the sports center, Benito Juarez, have been told that there are no services there for them, and there are no more donations, there is no more food, there is no more help. So how Birdie Gutierrez and these folks are keeping them there is by diverting donations to Enclave Caracol, where you have seen many of these migrants giving their press conferences, even the one that they did for the hunger strike. Birdie Gutierrez has been shared and posted about in the Asylum Seekers Caravan Support Network Facebook page by none other than Evan Duke. Remember, this is the guy that was at Standing Rock with the veterans, with Tulsi Gabbard, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, with Activate Now's Ed Higgins, the group of people that were doing reporting out at Standing Rock, along with Unicorn Riot and many others. Evan Duke is sharing Birdie Gutierrez, and they are diverting all of these donations to this location instead. And let me show you, Birdie, on the night that people were being moved to El Barretal, as you can see, it's nighttime in this photo, she was out there giving donations to the people at the Deportivo. Here's a picture of her. This is her post, and she's with the lady Estela Jimenez. She's not at the Barretal. The Barretal is a building, and it's inside of, there's walls enclosing it. I'll show you videos and pictures of it in a second. So, Birdie Gutierrez is supplying these folks. Now, if you want to know, the person is lying to the caravan amongst these folks. There are many people that are lying to the caravan to keep them from going to the new shelter. I want you to listen to Jessie Sandoval's video in which she's telling people from the Barretal, she's taking video there at night, that there's no lights, there's no water, there's no access to the donations.
Hi everybody, this is Jessie. I've been here at the new site, Barretal, a little bit over an hour, I think, maybe longer. I was having a meeting with some folks from the Caravana. Some of the issues raised in the meeting was just the lack of access that they have had with all the beautiful donations that you guys are sending, all the supplies. There's a bottleneck that is happening, and it's because of many factors. The local government they're assholes, basically. I'm just gonna be panning over. I'm kind of in the middle of a courtyard, and you should know just off the bat that this is the only light here available in this courtyard. Inside some of the I guess bunkers is a good way to call it. There's no light inside. There's no water except for a little bit of a trickle, they tell me. The bathrooms don't work. The dormitories, the makeshift dormitories, they're all dark inside. There's no light inside. People are sleeping in the dark. But it is better. It's a better, I think, than Benito Juarez, because at least most people have roofs over their head. There's an entire area in the back that you can't see where I'm panning to. I don't know if you can see it. It's dark. But that's a huge area, and I don't have access to it. Only the families can go in there. It's a huge area where the families with children, nuclear families, are being housed, and I'm told that that's a nicer area. This is like the courtyard, and then to the sides, on the sides of the courtyard, I guess, they're like these...
Ugh. Gotta stop her. Okay. You've heard enough of her lies, haven't you? Let me tell you, there are very few lights out in the courtyard because they prioritized electricity inside. Her lies about there not being any electricity inside is BS. And she admits to you herself, she's not allowed in there. You heard that? She's not allowed in there. You know why? Because she's not part of the caravan. Because they guarantee the privacy to the people that they're giving housing to in there. And she's saying there's no water. That's not true. There's no electricity. That's not true. They're stopping access to donations. That's not true. You don't get to control them, Jessie Sandoval. The government that is paying the rent for this location and providing security and support is taking the donations in and distributing them because they're the ones running the shelter, not you. Fortunately, hopefully, they have been warned about you. Here's another liar telling more stories that are bull crap. His name is Sam Slavic. And pay close attention to who shows up in the comment section. What? See that? Why, it's 7 McDonald. The PR lady hired by Wesley Clark Jr. to do the PR at Standing Rock. Look at that. Take a look. Where he's at. This is the park. At Benito Juarez. You can see somebody in the comments says he is live from Benito Juarez in Tijuana. So you know that the same Standing Rock phonies, the same people are all working together. Listen, I'm going to open that one again. I wanted you to hear him lying about. I suppose at this point y'all should just trust me when I tell you that these people are lying, but I like to show you the proof of it.
Dave. You're welcome, Dave. So I'm at Benito Juarez, and like everybody cleared out of here last night and left to the other shelter on buses, which I think is like 40 minutes away, but doesn't have electricity or running water, but it's inside.
Lies! Liar! Oh my God, you can tell he's just scavenging for food. You heard that, right? There's no water or electricity. There's no water or electricity. You think that sitting out in a field that was filled with raw sewage where rain was pouring down on them, where they had to go in porta potties instead of bathrooms inside of a building, where there was no showers, where the conditions were better at Benito Juarez for these people to continually berate the new and better shelter? Even they have to admit that at least it's concrete and they're not sitting there in the mud, but they still have to poop on it and say, but there's no water and there's no electricity and and you know, that hasn't been helping. It hasn't been working. A vast majority of the people who want to eat and be warm have decided after a time that they can't be intimidated anymore, they can't be lied to, and they're figuring out on their own that they've been controlled by these people telling them all of this nonsense. So eventually, what they've done is up the ante. They have to make Del Barretal bad for other reasons. They have to give some reason that people will actually fall for and believe, both here in the States and in that caravan. So, if you don't know who Seven McDonald's is, she was one of the people working PR for Standing Rock on behalf of Wesley Clark Jr. She did this PR for the veterans, and also she did a lot of this handling of stars from Hollywood that went out to Standing Rock. She was closely working with Maggie Day and also Winnie Wong. And remember who else? Desiree Kane. Desiree Kane. Boy, have I got an update for you about her. Wait for that in a minute. Woo, this could be good. So, back to these other no-goodkins. Oh, by the way, Seven McDonald is able to do this job in Hollywood because her daddy was somebody important once upon a time. Her daddy is the singer for Country Joe and the Fish. Remember that 60s group that played at Woodstock? Are you here to do the song, Duke?
Country Joe, and it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. The next stop is Vietnam. And it's 5, 6, 7. Open up the pearly gates. Well, we ain't got time to wonder why. Whoopee, we're all gonna die.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I love that he ran over here just to do that song. Right? Give him a round of applause. Wow. Those are some crooner pipes. I love his voice. Isn't it deep and rich and creamy? Anyway, Jessie Sandoval and Wiyaka Eagleman and the Dan Gaskin dude that is on Digital Smoke Signals live streams now are all in El Barretal. They got in. After all that trash talking they did, they got themselves in there, and now they're set up. Check it. They got a padlock for a room there they crashed.
Anil Bourgeois, Anishinaabe, Gija, Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians, Anishinaabe. Right now, currently in Tijuana, Mexico. Migrant Caravan Camp, new shelter location. Right now, I am with people who are direct with organization, logistics and stuff like that with the property owner. We are going into a hardware store to get a padlock and stuff, so then we're setting up a place. They're setting up a place to bring all donations and everything to, so it's more organized. We will be inside in the new shelter location. So just
now here I'm gonna
or a tarp. And so that would leave all the most vulnerable people inside the camp, women, children, people who are sick, elderly, and the strongest would interior part of the
random cars,
the randomness, and the sort, and then just so many people have fallen through the cracks, not getting what they need because of the bottleneck of distribution, many factors, and just lack of access. Many of us, when people were at Benito Juarez, we couldn't have access to the interior part of the camp, and that was causing problems. So a lot of people were just coming in pickup trucks and dropping off stuff outside of the area, and that was really difficult because then only the people that were the fittest and the strongest would be able to leave and come outside and grab jeans or a tarp. And so that would leave all the most vulnerable people inside the camp, women, children, people who are sick, elderly, unable to actually have access to the things that we were distributing with trucks and vans outside. So this way now, they have decided that they're going to organize themselves to create a space. They have a space now. They were granted a small little room, a space. It's a good place to begin. To collect. So we, people like you and me, we're going to start basically letting people know, our networks, to send whatever resources and supplies they want to bring them directly to this place here in El Barretal. And it's a space that the Caravana is actually, they're organizing and controlling. So it's not the state, it's not the NGOs, it's them. But the first thing we needed to do was to acquire a physical space, and that's what we did. And we just came back from the what is it, the hardware store?
Hardware store.
Because the caretaker of the space said, hey, yeah, you can have this room, but you need to find the key. We couldn't find the key, so now we're just going to break down the door and put on our own lock. Not my lock, sorry, their lock. I'm speaking we, it's not we, it's the caravan, okay? I'm not doing anything. It's the people. So they're going to padlock it and then, you know, take possession of the room, and then now people can bring donations directly to them. They're going to organize it in their own way, make it really transparent and inclusive and all that. So that's the update.
Right now where we are at, this is the actual door entrance to the new shelter location, guys and gals. So we are just now actually walking directly inside the new shelter location, and we're going to do a little cruise around, give you guys an idea of what it looks like.
The door's open.
All right, they got the door open.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
Hey, ¿ya abrieron la puerta? Oh, yeah? We bought a padlock. Oh, that's what he told me.
Let me jump ahead here.
Yeah. And this is everybody just coming here, getting here, all that good stuff.
Say what?
All right.
There's Wiyaka Eagleman. Did you see him?
Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, me, Jessie, Sandoval, I'll share it. Or other people.
There he is. Did you catch him? There's Wiyaka. Here he goes again.
I mean,
should we go for a little walk? Or
yeah.
We go for a walk?
El perro amarillo? Perro amarillo, I don't know if you can tag them. They're that, whatever. I'm not an electrician, but they know what they're talking about. And they want to bring it over here. And so they're looking into, they know how to do it. They say they know how to do it. How to transfer the...
At the new migrant caravan shelter location. And if you can notice, hey, look at this. There is cement. It is not mud. So the conditions are going to be a lot better.
They have to figure out how to, they know how to do it. They say they know how to do it. How to transfer the light from that, whatever. I'm not an electrician, but they know what they're talking about. And they want to bring it over here. And so they're looking into getting wire or cable or I don't know. I told them just to let me know. They say they know how to.
And you get to see the organizational parts come together and unfold. More tents, big tents like the big white one you see here. More of these things will arrive, getting the people more comfortable, and they got some music going on over here.
Ok, me hace saber lo de la electricidad que es. Ustedes ya saben hacer eso. El baúl. ¿Hay energía? ¿Es la lámpara? Xiomara creo que está allí en la tenta amarilla.
Ah, sí, es que trae la libreta y ahí traigo unos listados de la gente.
Ella lo tiene y yo la estoy... No puede, le mandé la lista al señor, pero no me pasa el celular. Yo creo que cuando llega ya a un espacio donde hay wifi me pasa. Mire, la cosa, sí.
Pero para que todo el pueblo le escuche, porque mejor no ocupan una bocina para que entiendan todo.
No, que yo no soy líder.
No lo voy a hacer, a mí póneramela, porque usted viene a decir que nadie viene a opinar que este es el otro. Ah, pues no lo estoy escuchando yo y pues no se vamos a opinar.
Sí, no, pues cada quien va pasando la palabra. Sí, cada quien.
I don't know if you caught that, but there was an exchange where she was being questioned. And she gave some answer like, I can't access that information right now because I don't have Wi-Fi here, but when I get Wi-Fi, I'll let you know. And he tells her something about going to the microphone and making an announcement. She's like, no, I'm not a leader of anything. They want to, and she's like, they're going to put, the caravan goers are going to do this. The caravan goers are not going to give orders at a facility rented by the Mexican government, okay? It's not going to happen. She is lying through her teeth. First of all, they're not going to allow them to set up whatever the hell they think that they're going to set up there without some scrutiny. As soon as people are onto them, the Mexican government, the people that are running that facility, the people that are paying the rent there are going to be the ones that decide what happens. Not the caravan goers and not you. as much as you would like to control what happens in Mexico, you imperialist witch. You can't decide for them. So here is her and Gaskin. No, this is Gaskin at the border wall at the playa, lying once again about all the dead people at sea.
Hey everybody, David.
David Gaskin.
Live smoke. Sorry. Smoke signals here. Right now we're in Tijuana, Mexico, at the border wall, where I don't know if anybody knows, but the other night I don't know, about 10 or a dozen people went out in the water, and a lot of them didn't come back. So come down here to do a prayer for the people that didn't come back. Ones that did, I guess, had hypothermia, pretty sick. So come down here, do prayer. There's extra security here for some reason today.
Okay, that's an outlier. So he claimed to be down there praying for the people that are lost at sea, praying for the people that went into the ocean and never came out again. They just make stuff up. Now they're making up prayer walks and ceremonies for people that never got injured, never were lost. All drama. Hypothermia, he says. And you heard Sandoval inside the Berretal. Now she's all excited. A minute ago, she was talking all this smack. You can go back and watch all her other videos talking smack about that shelter because she couldn't get in because they wouldn't let them in. And then when she got in, when she got a padlocked room that she could control and bring in the donations and say, the caravan is going to set up their own donation thing and they're going to put the padlock on. Before she was saying we and me, because yeah, she's the one, alborotada, infiltrator, that's doing all that stuff. But she wants to say it's the caravan. She uses the caravan as a shield. Don't ask her any questions. You don't have the right to ask her any questions. She's a Mexican or she's Latina. She's there to help her people. Never mind that she can't really talk to them because she doesn't speak Spanish. Never mind that she doesn't know enough about Mexico to be telling people in Mexico what to do, acting like a conquistadora herself. But, you know, I would like to give Miss Sandoval a piece of advice. You shouldn't poop where you eat. I don't know if you've heard that one, but you're in Mexico. You're in our house. You're in our, you're under our hospitality in Mexico. And you've been spending a lot of time talking smack about El Barretal, the donations, the people that have given to El Barretal, about the police, about the authorities. You've been talking a lot of trash about the very people that are hosting both the caravan and your lying ass. That's not a very smart thing to do. People don't take kindly to you being up in their face, making demands, telling them what to do with property they paid for, lying to caravan goers, stopping their good work, dividing, being divisive, so that the caravan goers are scared of their Mexican hosts, just so that you can exploit that fear of the caravan goers to keep them under your monopoly and control. It's sick, it's twisted what you're doing, but it's also very dangerous for you. You should be careful. Let me tell you something you don't know about Mexico. It's not like here. And let me tell you something you don't know about the Mexican police and the way things operate and the Mexican laws and the way they operate. It's not like here. Be careful. Let me show you what she's saying. This is a clip of her latest video.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I wrote a description in my little live feed that I'm doing right now. It's a morning here in Tijuana, and full disclosure, I'm sitting in a Starbucks. I needed my coffee, and I'm about to go very soon to begin my day. A lot of things are going on. This is Tijuana, by the way. No one is signing on. You guys are probably like on your way to work or not even awake. I don't know. Anyway, hello. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is Jessie. I haven't checked in a while, but I wanted to say hello. I wanted to give thanks to everyone who has been watching over the people here at the border, following these stories, keeping tabs on all of us here also who are down here trying to do something. I wrote a description on my wall of a little bit of what I was going to talk about, and I'm going to say some things that I'm just being really, really fucking honest at this point. It's been really hard to get here to this point emotionally and to have a little bit more clarity than I had maybe just many weeks ago when I first started this and I first came down to Mexico City on November 6th, and now I'm in Tijuana now. And it's been a journey, and many of you guys have been following it and reading my little posts, my little blog entries, my little vents. And thank you for that. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your trust and your support. Safety. So El Barretal is, I found out a couple days ago, El Barretal is basically the murder capital of fucking Tijuana, okay? So somebody from Univision wrote an article a few days ago or posted it, and it was sent to me, and they used a number. They said they're in Tijuana just in 2018, in this past year, there had been 2,600 murders just in Tijuana, but most of those murders, they were saying, occurred in El Barretal. So El Barretal is kind of a hardcore neighborhood, and that was one of the reasons why a lot of people from Benito Juarez did not want to go to El Barretal, because they knew it was infamous. It is infamous. It's, all of Tijuana is really cartel territory, to be fucking honest, but I was told that El Barretal is kind of like an extra stronghold of the cartel. So there's all kinds of fuck shit going on, and the police are, fuck the police for real, because, I fucking hate the police. I'm sorry if you don't agree, but the police, for some reason, everywhere in the world tend to have the same kind of mentality, where they don't really give a fuck. And so the federales and the police, I'm sure there's a few that are decent, as in all places, but the experiences that I've had with them, no, that's not been my experience. And so there's a lot of fuck shit and a lot of corruption, and so you know how that goes. I'm not gonna talk too much about that. Yesterday we dropped in Benito Juarez to check in on the people that were still there, because we knew that people were still at Benito Juarez, and sure enough, the minute we got there, a few of us, just like 3 or 4 of us, were there. Okay, no human rights organizations were there, no NLG people there, okay, looking out and observing what was going on. But I'll tell you what was going on. Hella federales and people that I would say are the equivalent of Homeland Security, but for the Mexican government, were there. A huge armored vehicle that looked like a fucking tank was there, and hella police. And 4 buses, empty buses, 3 of them were empty, only 1 was full, of buses waiting to see who would board them. The people did not want to board the buses. The buses were heading to El Barretal. People did not want to go to Barretal. There were about 300 people there, still there. They were outside of the main encampment, because they've been already thrown out of there, and they're cleaning it up. So they were outside, all in their little tents, and laying down or just milling about. They did not want to get on the buses, okay? And lots of police and military type people, okay? So, but no one there, okay, aside from us, there, me, two compañeros, and a fucking immigration lawyer from El Salvador. I'm not gonna name him, he's a friend of mine. He was there holding it down. Four of us were there, okay? No NLG, no human rights observers. And this is what the people were telling us. They were telling us that they were giving threats to them that if they did not get into the buses, they were going to be deported, okay? No one there to disseminate that information. I tried to send it out on group chats. There's certain things I don't like to blast on Facebook immediately before I get all the information, but we do have a few organized chat groups where we send out, immediate information for people that are already on the ground, because it doesn't make any sense to send this out on Facebook if you're not on the ground. Like, what are you going to do, right? So I definitely sent that information to the people on the ground here. And I'm going to tell you, as of last night, we were there last night at El Barretal to go check on the people over there, and they still hadn't arrived. So I'm still trying to find out what happened to the people that we saw there at Barretal, and we were trying to keep tabs on them. But, there was only 4 of us, and then we had to go check on the people who were doing the hunger strike. So we're spread thin, and we try to check on all the situations as much as we can, while we're also laying down a pipeline of support directly to the caravan. So we're doing the triaging. A lot of us are doing the triaging. This isn't just me, just people that I'm working with and collaborating with. We're doing the on-the-ground triaging of, like, just the daily fuckery and the daily needs and the immediate needs. Like, people at Barretal still don't have places to take showers, okay? People at Barretal still don't have places to take showers or wash their clothes. So today, that's on the to-do list today, okay? And we're doing the daily triaging, but also doing cop watching and just trying to figure out where people are going, where people are, what are the threats that they're facing, and also doing more of the long-term kind of like long-term view of like what is this place going to look like 2 months from now, a month from now, 2 weeks from now. So it's a lot of that. So we definitely need to build. They can't stay at Barretal forever, like straight up. That cannot happen. You know what I mean? That's not sustainable. So we definitely need to direct our efforts to provide assistance and to expand and fortify and make the infrastructure here more robust in terms of the immigrant rights groups here and the shelters that they provide and the organizing that they do. Definitely support that. But here is my other piece to that. Yes, do that, but also in tandem, make sure that you equally support the caravan body, the body of the community of the Éxodo Centroamericano, because they are also they're an equal part of this entire situation, if not the center. I'm going to say the center. They are the center of this. They are the center. They are the reason that the people here in Tijuana are involved in that kind of work, in that kind of activist work, right? So please center them. And this is what I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to focus on creating a pipeline directly to the people of the caravan, a funding pipeline and supply chain pipeline to the people of the caravana, because I want to be able to support their effort in defining who they are politically, okay? This isn't just human aid, but also politically, so they can have a leverage and they could also have an equal voice, and not just be the huddled masses that are being cared for or taken care by other organizations here in Tijuana. Do you know what I'm saying? They need to be equal partners in this effort with Enclave Caracol and all the organizations, local Tijuanese organizations that you guys are supporting right now. They need to be equal partners in this. And only with economic support can they do that? Can they actually leverage themselves as a full-blown, straight-up community? You know, to leverage that and make demands. We need to help them buy property. We need to help them buy supplies. We need to help them, what have you. This is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm pushing for and supporting right now. I'm telling you right now. So yes, support Enclave Caracol. Support all these other amazing people working here in Tijuana who have been doing all this work for many years. And in addition, help support the empowerment of the people of el Éxodo Centroamericano. Because I've spoken to a lot of people in the caravana, and these people, they know what they want. They have a vision. They have a vision of how they want to move, how they want to be seen and heard by the world, not just Tijuana. And to do that, they need autonomy and they need economic independence. I'm going to leave you with that, okay? Thank you so much. I know a lot of people are sending me all kinds of messages and whatever. And I'll leave you this one last piece that I don't even feel like I really should address, but I'll address it. I wrote a few posts a few days ago about just basically white allies and the role in this place. And I don't have to explain anything. I got hit up by a lot of people asking me for explanations. Why did you post that? Blah, 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 including a picture that I posted. And let me just say this. I don't owe you any explanations. I'm not here to educate you. If you do not have the empathy muscles to understand that many of us here are also dealing with trauma, okay? Our own histories of oppression. I don't have to explain that to anybody, especially to white people. So if you're not there, if you're not at that level, then maybe don't ask me questions and try not to get in the way. I have nothing else to say about that, but I'll say that right now straight up. I don't owe anybody any explanations about what I mean when I write about knowing your roles and your place and listening to brown people, indigenous people, brown women. I'm not going to explain that ever, okay? So I love you all. Thank you for supporting me, and please don't forget the people of El Éxodo Centroamericano. You're going to be hearing more updates soon. We're working on a lot of things. And we're going to roll out a few things that we're working on. So please stay tuned.
Okay, first off, se dice tijuanenses, not tihuajanese. Okay, just so you know, because you are pooping all over how they're called, how they call themselves, their police force, the people running the shelter, pretty much everyone that's hosting you right now. You are crapping all over that, and you are acting like a really entitled, unaccountable person. You don't have to respond to anyone. Well, maybe perhaps you think that you're going to keep all the questions at bay by talking to people like that and fake crying and making yourself out to be a victim. What you seem like is somebody that's mentally unstable. Didn't that seem like she was mentally unstable? You should have seen the video in which she's in Mazatlan talking about walking into the ocean and never coming out, while she also breaks down and cries in the video. This is not the only video that she's talking all normal, and then all of a sudden she's like, it's a little unnerving. I'm like, how are you qualified to help people in a caravan again? Anyway, second of all, the people of Mexico may beg to differ in terms of what kind of explanations you owe to whom. You're in another country that has its own laws and its own law enforcement. And they are onto you. They are onto you. I made sure to specifically this video in which you tell the police, F the police, and you're not just talking smack about the cops, which have done nothing but treat you kindly. I've seen videos in which you're talking to them and they are treating you with respect and kindness. And you're the one that's talking smack about them. You think that you're just going to talk smack about the cops so that the people in the caravan and the people that you're trying to get money from all think that, oh, things are so horrible for the caravan. They're not getting the things that they need. And you're the only one that can give them to them. But what you're also doing is keeping the caravan goers from getting the help that the Mexicans are trying to give them, which means and makes you an evil person. But you're also pooping where you eat. Not a very good idea. Mexico is hosting you right now, and the cops know what you're up to. The cops know that you're lying to caravan goers, and the cops know that you are talking smack about them. So do the people that pay for and run that shelter at El Barretal, who are the government. It's the Mexican government running the show. Let me tell you. And it's been like that since the beginning. She's talking about, we made a deal with the property owners. The government is the one that rented that place. They're the current property owners. You didn't make no deal with the government. You're talking smack about them in every video you make. So, bad idea. Very, very bad idea to do that, to do what she is doing about El Barretal. Not to mention the fact that she is straight up making up a new reason. Did you hear what the new reason is why all of those people refused to go to El Barretal? It wasn't because there was no water, like they were initially saying. Go back for yourselves. Listen to all of the stupid excuses and lies that have been put out there, that the migrant caravan has been repeating, and that these people have been propagandizing and promoting. There's no water at the new shelter. There's no showers at the new shelter. They can't get donations at the new shelter. They're keeping them miles and miles away from the border where Trump can't hear them anymore. They're making it harder for them to apply for asylum. None of these things are true. They're putting them in buses and deporting them. Not true either. They're the places in the shelter, in the new shelter, are like cells, are like bunkers, she called them. There's not enough food for people at the new shelter. The location, they said, was so remote on top of a mountain, and the roads were so bad that the only way that you could get up there is in these special transport vehicles like the military and the police have. Also not true. None of the things worked. None of the things have stuck. So now there's a new reason. You know what the new reason is? It's cartel country. And they can't hardly go outside. It's so dangerous. They put them in the murder capital of the world. Well, let me explain some things to you folks. My very first shows, I started talking to you about this. I explained to you that Tijuana, the border city of Tijuana, is one of the most dangerous cities in the world. A city in Honduras recently took first place, but Tijuana held it for a very, very long time. And it's because of the cartels, the Sinaloa cartel. It's all right there on that side. Who was it that decided to bring tens of thousands of people to that dangerous border city through cartel country? Why, it was the organizers of this caravan. Because I told you that was very strange. Nobody in Mexico could figure out, why would they take them this route? Why would they go to this specific city? Why would they go the longest route possible to through the most dangerous places and gridlock everyone in Tijuana? They're the ones that did that. The people that organized it, the people that are supporting it, and the people that are funding it. Like her. Like Jessie Sandoval. And now they're going to use the fact that this whole route that they took, plus the place where they took them to, the city of Tijuana, not that neighborhood, not that specific neighborhood, the whole city is very dangerous. That's true. But it's a lot less dangerous than being out in a park, in an open baseball field that has been filled with human waste. How can you keep arguing that they're better off somewhere else in TJ, outside, than in the shelter? You sicko. They're trying to compare this location, the Barretal, the people of Tijuana, the Mexican government, as putting them in harm's way, putting them in front of the cartel like it's a firing squad. That's what they want you to think. That's the imagery that they want you to see so that you'll go, the Mexican government isn't helping them. And Trump isn't helping them. Americans have to do it. It's malarkey. It's completely fabricated. Don't believe the hype. You are being lied to so that they can pick your pocket. Don't give them your time. Don't give them your money. Don't give them your support. I am telling you, these people are thieves and liars. And they're doing this not just to the people of Mexico and the city of Tijuana. They're doing this to the caravan as well. They are putting those caravan people in danger. Let me show you a cartoon that was circulated, that is being circulated, that is making the point. It's an echo. These people are all saying the same things. Look at this cartoon. There is a mom and a child. And make sure that we have that imagery, even though the majority of the people in the caravan are men. We're going to focus on the children and the women, okay, in the cartoon. There's no men. Oh yeah, there is men. The ones holding guns in the cartoon, there are men, but they're not part of the caravan. Caravan is this woman with a jug of water. She looks very concerned. She's holding her baby in a swaddle. There's the American flag. There's the American border. And in giant, much bigger cartoons than the poor tiny woman and her baby, is a Border Patrol agent who looks like he's eating his gun, or I don't know. He looks like he's ready to shoot her in the head. He's pointing it directly at her head. And on the other side, behind her, is the narco trafficker. He looks scary, not even wearing a shirt. Very ripped. He's ready to kill. He's pointing a gun at the back of her head. And this guy is pointing a gun at the front of her head. What a conundrum! Whatever will she do? Where can she go? That's what they want you to believe. And let me just prove to you that Asylum Seekers Caravan Support Network are the people spreading this trash. There it is. Asylum Seekers Caravan Support Network. That's where I got this cartoon. Here's that Lilith Sinclair. There's activism actually. All of the different people that are posting this nonsense on this page. This is their message. This is what they want you to know. Here's another post that proves my point. Gaskin, David Gaskin, the guy telling lies about the people in the ocean down by the sea, is posting Jessie Sandoval's post, and here she is saying, this is just posted today, folks. Attention, we are here at El Barretal. The federal government just took over Barretal. No, they didn't, you big fat liar. They have always had control over El Barretal. Always. They were the ones that rented it. Just look this information up in the news. It's all easily verifiable, folks. Who rented El Barretal? It's the federal government. She goes on with her lie. And no more vehicles are being allowed into the compound. Probably not yours, Jessie Sandoval. She says, except for NGOs and some orange jacket immigrant human rights orgs who are moving in and floating almost as if suspended by ether-filled clouds of righteousness above the head of our asylum seekers like divas on steroids. Central American Exodus, Asylum Seekers, Tijuana, Migrant Caravan. I thought they were supposed to call them the Exodus. You can't even get your own story straight, Jessie. She's the one telling everyone not to call them the Migrant Caravan, but then, of course, she uses the hashtag because she knows that's what everyone is following. Do you hear the contempt in her voice? Jessie, they're on to you, girl. My contacts in Tijuana, in the media, have all your info. They've given them to the shelter workers. Go look at Alfredo Alvarez's page. Listen to his news reports. He's got your number. Listen to the news report of many of the other people in Tijuana, many of whom I have sent your information to. I've been doing these shows in Spanish and in English just so the people of Tijuana will know what kind of snakes they're dealing with, so that I can translate your lies to the people in government running that place, so that the cops will know what you're saying about them, Jessie. I did all that translating just for you, because I know you can't do it, girl. You can't speak Spanish, right? Tijuanese pendeja. Oh, dear Lord. And she is pissed about it. These human rights organizations. Wasn't she just saying in her other video, she's the only one there, like super women with her sidekicks, her 3-4 people total. They're going from one place to another place. They got to help the people with the hunger strike. They're checking on the people at the park. They're going to this other spot. I mean, one barely has enough time to go to the Starbucks. And all of that she's doing all on her own. There's no National Lawyers Guild. She's very upset about that. Where are they? They should be here by now. And what about those international human rights organizations? Where are they? Oh, well, turns out there's human rights organizations at El Barretal. They're Mexican human rights organizations because you're in Mexico, bitch. I mean, I'm sorry. Esta pendeja, prepotente, imperialista. ¿Qué te crees? Que vas a llegar así como si fuera tu casa, a hacer lo que tú quieras. Estás recién pendeja. Sorry. But that's the truth. The truth hurts. La verdad no duele, pero sí que incomoda. Truth does not hurt, but it sure does make people uncomfortable. And she's upset because they're onto you. And they kicked you out. And they said, you can't come in here and do whatever the hell you want. And so now she's got to talk smack about them and post that the government is taking over. No, the government always was already there. Okay? Here they are giving you their phony update. This is a just put up video of Gaskin with Lilith Sinclair, who's also with this group of ne'er-do-wells.
I need Bonjour Digital Smoke Signals. It's David Gaskin. Anishinaabe, Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians.
Digital Smoke Signals.
Tijuana, Mexico, at Barretal. Currently the situation is this is a new shelter location for the migrant caravan people from Honduras, El Salvador, and Nicaragua. We have some update information, and we have somebody here who can help fill us in on that. So I'm gonna let her speak and take over. If you want to introduce yourself, that's up to you. If not, that's also up to you. So
so my name is Lilith Sinclair. I've been in Tijuana for about a week and a half now, on the ground helping out at Benito Juarez, the previous shelter, and here at Barretal, the new shelter. So what we are hearing today, when we got here this afternoon, what we have learned from our contacts who are elected leaders from the Exodus itself are telling us that last night, in the middle of the night, the federal government came and they took over operations of this new shelter in Barretal. Previously, the property manager of this space that you see right here, right now, was working with the elected leaders from the caravan, from the Exodus, to be able to help them have autonomy and to help them be able to sort of organize their own space. He was helping them to try and find space for them to be able to like culminate supplies and bring in donations themselves so that they could be in charge of handing them out and making sure the people who have needs are getting those needs met. But overnight, the federal government came in and took over. They've started setting up barricades along the outside of Berital. They're out front over here, but there are barricades a lot like these ones, like these metal barricades that are out front. The guys that they're doing this under, they're saying that the federal government has taken over to help protect the Exodus members. They're saying that they're going to be doing job fairs and positive things to help them, but the reality is that we are hearing from Exodus leaders that they have talked to some federal agents who essentially on the sly have told them that it's not Los Federales, the federal government, it's actually Mexican immigration that has taken over this space. So right now, Mexican immigration is doing a hostile takeover of this space right here. These guys walking around in orange vests have signs on the back of their jackets that say they're here for protection of the migrants, which is absolutely wrong. So the reality of the situation is that they're getting ready to set up mass deportations right now. This is what everyone that we've spoken to from the Exodus themselves are worried about. These people are absolutely terrified. Mexican immigration is going to start controlling the flow in and out of here. There's really huge gates at the front of this compound, and right now they're open, but what they're doing is setting up a system for immigration to be able to control who it is, for immigration to control who it is that is being allowed in and out of the shelter. So what...
Can you describe where we're going right now?
Right now we're walking towards the front of the shelter, the main entrance to the new one in Berital. So these are the gates here, these large metal doors that are usually shut. It's been a complete 180 as to what we were told literally just yesterday. Yesterday they told us that if you had donations, you could bring your car in from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and that during that time people would be allowed inside to deliver donations. They turned us away last night, and then this morning it's been a complete change of instruction, and they're saying that no one is going to be allowed in with their cars. The only people that they are allowing inside to help are people like NGOs and nonprofits that are cooperating with the federal government, but these people here, the Exodus members, are saying that these NGOs and these nonprofit organizations are not consulting them. They're not working to empower them at all. They're not helping them get donations where they need to go. The major issue is that they are actually just coming here to sort of build a resume of their own agenda, as opposed to actually providing help and support and empowering the members of the Exodus. So, as you can see right here, there's a very huge military presence from the federal government. These are the people who are saying that we are not going to be allowed in with donations if we aren't connected to some sort of NGO or nonprofit that they approve of. They're handpicking who is and isn't allowed entrance into this facility right now. So what we're here to do is we are...
She's so full of crap. People going in and out. They're handpicking, blah, 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 blah. Watch out. Watch out, mentirosa. Watch out, mentirosa, because as soon as I get done doing this live stream, I am sending this to the very authorities that you are filming. You better watch your ass, girl. Cuídate, que tienes cola que te pisen. And they will be on you. I'm going to send them your Facebook page, your name, all your information so they can identify you at the door that they put up those gates on. And I'm going to show them that you're talking lies about the migrants. Let me tell you, the Mexican government is not putting up with this shit no more. Excuse my French. But I'm telling you, they are done. They are done with these people lying. Look at what they're doing. These people are showing their true colors. Those are human rights organizations, people there to protect the migrants from exploiters, manipulators, and liars like her. Like the organizations associated with the Asylum Seekers Caravan Support Network and all of these American people that have been funding the wrong elements within this migrant caravan and that are using them as a weapon. The Mexican people are not going to allow you to do that, and they're not going to allow you to stand in between the donations and the caravan goers. You're not going to control that. You're not going to control the barretal. You're not going to control what happens in Mexico because you're in someone else's house. Learn to have some manners. I'm sending all of this information to the authorities right after I finish this show, so they will be up to date. This was just posted right before I did my show, folks. So I'm keeping them up to the minute in Mexico. By tomorrow, she might be in shackles. Wouldn't that be fun? Huh? Wouldn't that be fun? For all their smack talking? Because things are changing real fast for them. Have you noticed that, guys? Have you picked up on that at all? That in Mexico, within 24 hours, they're onto you and things are changing and all of your plans are falling apart. You know why that is? Because there's people like me that are letting the authorities know what you're up to. And they know. They're paying attention and they're organized and they don't like what you're doing. So I think it's going to suck for you really, really soon. Let me tell you what Vivian Farmery, one of the people that is traveling with the Air All Medicine people, with DuWane Redwater and Wiyaka Eagleman and their drumming and all of that, they're spreading the same crap about the situation in Mexico. They are saying that donations of supplies now go directly to 4 members of the Exodus for equality of distribution. And I hear that there will be direct financial links soon. Because the government moved people at 10 p.m. in the rain, it was very disorganized and much wet stuff have to be left behind. But women organizers cleaned up yesterday. It was mostly the government, although the caravan goers did help some. Mexican government is having to deal with getting donations to these folks, making sure they have shelter and food, and also cleaning up after them. And the people that are organizing and supporting the worst elements within this caravan are not helping. All they are doing is hindering, manipulating, dividing, and hurting the city of Tijuana, the authorities in Tijuana, the organizers in Tijuana, and the caravan goers themselves. That's all they're doing. These people are saying in this post that now that the travelers have their new shelter and there are actual rooms protected from the elements, everyone seems to be moving forward toward more calm and there can be better solutions to the needs of the people for sanitary conditions, such as toilets, showers, clean and dry clothing, bedding, etc. I think everyone is feeling better about the situation, and I'm very happy the travelers take more control from the government and NGOs. This is from before today and that video I just showed you. So this was when they learned that all these folks had gotten into the barretal. Remember, this is how it went. They were talking smack about the barretal. They didn't want people to go there and they were trying to stop people by any means necessary. And they were lying about the conditions of el barretal, primarily because they couldn't get in there and they couldn't control the people. They couldn't talk to the masses. They couldn't keep them under control, and they didn't have any way of giving what they wanted to specific members of the caravan on their own. They didn't have a direct pipeline, as she was saying. She wanted to have a direct pipeline. The government isn't going to allow you that. So instead, what happened is they talked smack about it. Once they thought they had an in, they got inside and they took over this room. They were so happy. But even in that video I showed you, people were coming up and asking questions about who they were and what they were doing there. By the next day, everything had changed. No, nothing had changed. They were already onto you. They found you and they kicked your asses out. That's what happened. And these human rights organizations that you were so quick to point out were not doing their jobs and were missing from El Berretal, they've arrived. Aren't you happy? Why aren't you celebrating? The human rights organizations are there. You know why they're not happy? Because the human rights organizations there to protect the migrants have realized you're the people they need to protect them from. And that's what you don't like. That's why you're talking smack about them. But doing what you're doing isn't going to help you. It's only going to put a bigger target on your back. Just so you know. Here's that post from before everything turned sour. Just so you can see Vivian Farmery, DuWane, Redwater. They're talking about being in Mexico. They're sending up the hashtag. They're working together to spread lies and misinformation. That one's kind of out of order. I wanted to show you that before I got to this. But now, let me show you their latest scam, should I say. There's an emergency, everybody. Oh my God. It's an emergency of a medical type. Activism, actually, one of the people posting in that group posted this. Urgent need. There's a woman with in the Exodus in immediate need of a C-section. The government is supposed to be taking care of people with immediate needs to local hospitals for care, but this is not happening. Advocates have reached out to local MDs for help. They literally have medical tents and facilities within El Berretal compound. This is a lie. Mexico has some of the most cheap, inexpensive, and excellent medical care. You know why so many people from the United States go there? Because it's better and cheaper medical care. Millions of dollars go over the border for medical care. But these people want you to send them via PayPal or Cash App. And share this wildly everywhere, please. Donate, donate, donate for a C-section that nobody needs. Here's the person you need to donate to. psychecalderon@gmail.com. Okay? Remember that. Also, remember that this is a load of hogwash. Who is signing on to this nonsense? Oh, look. It's the fake doctor, Lolly B. Confirming the lies, just like she confirmed the bullet wound, just like she was telling everyone, Marcus Mitchell, even after he was caught lying, making up bullet wounds that never happened, she still was carrying water for this lying sicko, telling people to give him a pass because he has PTSD. And as a yoga instructor, Lolly B knows all about psychology. So make sure that Laura Christine Livingston Berger's advice validates this fake GoFundMe. Yes, it is confirmed. The woman is now being seen by an OBGYN. We need a couple $1,000s to cover it. But Laura Berger from Harvard, from Cambridge, don't you have the money already? Don't you already have the money, Lolly? I mean, you spend more on a Burning Man ticket every year. What in the hell do you need $2,000 for? You could just take care of this yourself, Miss Laura Berger. Here's David Gaskin. Good old David Gaskin, now I guess a reporter for Digital Smoke Signals, sharing the same nonsense out and saying he may be part of it. He says, just got word the lady at the Migrant Caravan Shelter is going to be hospitalized for an emergency C-section. There is no medical attention being offered to her, so she's getting a ride to the hospital. I might be riding along and observing the situation. This is wild what these people have been through and are still going through. Oh my God! Do you know what this means? There won't be any video or evidence of any of this, but there will be a story. I'm going to try and make up part of the story right now. Let me guess. David Gaskin is going to deliver a baby. He's going to help with the C-section at the hospital. They're going to name the baby after him. What if one of those things actually happens? Man, if I was a betting woman, I would put money down on this. I really would. I can guess, you know, like, if it's about making stories up, I'm as good as anybody at making stories up, you know. I can sling some crap. Let's find out who this Calderon psyche person doctor is. Why, her name is actually Doctora Psyche Calderon Vargas. Who dat, everybody? She's got a page, folks. She's a page. This is the Psyche Calderon Vargas. She's an activist, a medic, and a doctor, a teacher in sciences of health. And this is for a post about Encuentro Bacana. It's a conference for Baja and Cannabis 2018. She's a weed doctor. Dr. Weed has cannabis for you. Is she going to deliver baby while administering weed for the C-section? I don't know. What are the secondary effects of cannabis? Could I create an addiction from consuming cannabis? The sciences of health. She is a teacher in the sciences of health. This is the person you're supposed to send your money to. How many of you actually believe she can deliver this baby? I don't know if I want a doctor promoting weed to deliver my baby. I don't know if you want to send her money, but that's up to you. I mean, they don't let people drive high. I don't know if they would be okay with baby delivering. It's just very odd that they would be asking you to send money to that lady, to that doctor. I don't get it. Well, guys, let me just tell you, your days are limited in spreading all of these lies. They really are. Mexico's not going to put up with this. Let me show you what's happening, okay? This lady, I have dubbed her the biting lady. This lady here that you see being stuffed into a police truck is a woman by the name of Sonia Diaz. Sonia Diaz Vargas is her full name. She was arrested, as you can see here, posted on the AIC project page just yesterday. She just got arrested outside of the Benito Juarez Sports Arena in Tijuana as the last of the Central American migrants were being moved toward the new El Berretal hostel. A woman identified as Sonia Diaz Vargas was arrested by municipal and federal agents for inciting the migrants to fight against the move. Authorities spoke to the migrants who agreed to be transferred to the municipal police facility in the presence of human rights representatives. Diaz Vargas, who said she was Mexican American, was removed by police. Okay, now I am going to show you what she is related to, okay? This is what people are saying. I want you to watch the video first. Keep an eye on her. She's a biter.
Vámonos ahora con mi compañera Elizabeth Mávila, ella está en Tijuana con la caravana migrante. ¿Y qué está ocurriendo por allá en este reporte de última hora, Elizabeth?
¿Qué tal, Ana Paula? Muy buenas tardes. Pues comentarte que están bastante tensas las cosas aquí afuera del Deportivo Benito Juárez, el antiguo albergue donde por varios días pernoctó esta caravana. Y es que hoy llegaron los últimos 2 camiones para trasladar a los migrantes de forma voluntaria al Barretal. Y bueno, pues por ahí surgió una mujer quien era líder y los estaba incitando a que no abandonaran esta calle, la calle 5 de Mayo.
So far, she has said that this woman appeared as the last buses to transport people to El Barretal were showing up there at the sports center Benito Juárez, and this woman appeared telling them not to get on the buses.
Después de hacerse de palabras con policías municipales, con policías federales, incluso también, bueno, pues con algunas de las personas que querían subir de forma voluntaria a estos camiones.
She was also stopping people from getting on the bus, threatening people that were trying to get on the bus, telling them that they were going to be deported. She had words with police, state and federal, and the people running the transport buses.
La policía municipal de Tijuana con apoyo de la policía federal, y es entonces cuando comienza a volverse bastante tensa la situación. Ahí estamos viendo el momento en que, bueno, la están subiendo a la patrulla.
They're putting her on the truck.
A esta detención, y después un grupo pues considerable de migrantes.
A considerable amount of migrants rushed around the cops and threw trash at them and screamed, "Let her go." Oh, these are real cops. These are federal and state police putting her in the truck. She is putting up the resistance of a lifetime. Look at this. She was lying to people, telling them they were going to be deported if they got on the buses. They're trying to talk to her. Very aggressive woman. Takes like 4 cops to get her in there.
Sí está poniendo una resistencia importante, son varios los policías que le están intentando subir a la patrulla, que entendemos es municipal, allá en Tijuana, está poniendo resistencia. No
Wait for it, she's about to assault an officer.
Parte de la caravana migrante, ¿sabes si
She is being treated with kid gloves. Kid gloves.
Ahí fue donde empezó esta serie de altercados, porque bueno, pues empezó a hacerse de palabras con uno de los transportistas quien estaba brindando los autobuses. Él acusa de pollera, ella le
Watch her. Turn right there. She's trying to get her hand in the door to stop the door from closing. Look at her bite the cop. Did you see that?
Bueno, mi duda es si es mexicana o es centroamericana. No sabemos eso, Elizabeth. De alguna manera creo que es importante para el tema de si la pueden deportar o no.
We still don't know whether or not she was Mexican or a Central American. We now know she's definitely a Mexican American. Just like Pitaya Queen. They're trying to push her in.
Y por último, Elizabeth, nada más preguntarte si las personas que integran la caravana, que no hay duda de que son
They're getting on with her now.
Y que no son polleros, ellos, ¿cuál es su actitud? ¿Están tratando de ayudar a esta mujer para que no sea detenida? ¿Están tratando de que las autoridades se la lleven?
Un grupo numeroso de personas integrantes.
She's trying to block them from closing the door.
Exigiendo libertad para esta mujer, incluso arrojaron por ahí pues una serie de objetos, bolsas de basura, cosas que tenían a la mano en la banqueta, pidiendo que la bajaran de esta patrulla. Y es que también decirte que
Watch her bite. Here goes. You see that? Did you see that?
Como de medios de comunicación de Estados Unidos. Él estaba jugando fútbol con un grupo de migrantes, incluso los migrantes dijeron que pues les daba apoyo.
Yeah. That just happened. She just bit an officer in the arm like a rabid dog or something to stop them from putting her on. Now, this is incredible, okay? I've been watching, I told you I've been watching this Mexican reporter called Alfredo Alvarez. And I was watching his reports every day because he was going to the Deportivo Benito Juarez twice a day. And he was constantly reporting on what was happening there, interviewing a lot of people. But he also knows the governance of the town. He's on television. He's on radio. And so when I saw this woman, I thought, she looks familiar. Where did I see her before? And then I remembered Alfredo had interviewed her. And it was a really weird interview because she looks like she's mentally unhinged. And she was very aggressive. He was walking around, and it immediately stayed with me because it reminded me so much of some of the aggressive people at Standing Rock. I don't know if this ever happened to you when you were there. I had a media pass, and so we, you know, sometimes it goes inside of your coat or whatever, and it was cold out there a lot. So you'd have to like drag it out and be like, yes, I'm with the media, because I was carrying around a camera. I was carrying around recording equipment, you know, like you do. And so I had several people come up to me in a, you know, kind of like an aggressive, like security mode style saying, do you have permission to film here? Who are you? And I would just take out my pass and show them, be like, yeah, I'm with the media, and here's my pass, here's blah, blah. I had cards, here's my card, you know? So I noticed that she did that. She was with two other guys. I hadn't seen this at all. Like, there's security people and police patrolling around the perimeter of that field when they were all at that other location. There was also blocking the streets, so the only way that you could come into the sports field is through one specific street, Cinco de Mayo, and the police had that patrolled as well. There were Marines on site that were feeding the people, and there was medical staff. You couldn't go into the field itself unless you were one of the people that was in there. And they also were kind of, they didn't have very good filters for keeping out fake media like Unicorn Riot and some of these other posers with live streams. But I digress. Point is that there was some control over who came and went inside of that sports field. And it wasn't people from the caravan doing the security, okay? It was the Mexican authorities that put them there. So when this woman walks up to Alfredo, she's like, who are you? What are you doing here? And he's like, I'm just out here doing a live stream. I'm reporting. And she goes, for who? And, you know, he's like, I'm on television and radio. What station? And she tells him, and he says, you know, I'm on this station and I'm on this station. And then she's like, why aren't you doing a good job? Why aren't you guys in the media doing such a horrible job? Why don't you tell the truth? She immediately starts accusing him of lying about the caravan, of making the caravan look bad. Why aren't you reporting the stories of the cops and what the cops are doing to us? She said. And he's like, well, you got something to say? Go ahead and talk to the camera. You're on live stream. I have thousands of people watching this. And she's like, okay, fine. He goes, why don't you tell us your name and and she tells her name, you know, she's like, my name is Sonia Vargas. She said she was a social worker, and she said that she was Mexican. She didn't say she was American. When she started talking, you could immediately tell she didn't have a Honduran or Central American accent. So he asked her, what are you? And she said, I'm Mexican, because it was obvious she's Mexican. But also, she's American, just like Pitaya Queen, the leader of the LGBTQIA caravan. Okay? And she was being an aggressive, mean person to Alfredo simply for reporting. She was like that because she didn't like real reporters being there. I bet she was real friendly with the Unicorn Riot types and all the phony media that came out of Standing Rock. I bet she was tight with them. There's a bunch of them out there. Digital Smoke Signals, Unicorn Riot, that Slavic guy. There's a bunch of them out there. I've shown you some of them here. So this woman, she told the story to Alvarez that the cops had been harassing her, that she'd already been arrested. They put her in jail for 16 hours, and then she got out on bail, and apparently she went right back to agitating and doing stupid stunts. She has been identified as being part of the caravan's organizers, main organizers, Sin Fronteras, that Sin Fronteras group that you've seen that has been talked about over and over again, Pueblos Sin Fronteras. In this post, in that same comment thread, the AIC pack I showed you earlier, you see someone is talking about AIC's page and this video and this woman, and they say in Spanish that she bit a police officer. She was foul-mouthed, demanding food, and telling people that not to go to the new shelter. She's not a social worker. She's an activist with Sin Fronteras. You see that? These are exactly the people that brought the caravan to Mexico and ruined the lives of all of Tijuana. Ruined the lives of Tijuanenses. And have made it harder for people in Tijuana to work. According to this post, she says, this person says, Lulu GR says, thanks to people like this, we are all affected. Afectados somos nosotros con la gente que está aquí. Cabe agregar que faltan como 300 hondureños que no se sabe dónde están. Activistas los tienen escondidos. See what I tell ya? It says, I should also mention 3,000 plus people are from the caravan are missing and activists are hiding them. Okay? So people have identified who these people are actually with. And guess what? The language is the same as BAM. Let's look at another post by Lulu talking about this, responding to someone asking a question about who this woman is. And she tells her, again, she's an activist. She's with Pueblos Sin Fronteras. She was inciting the people and against police. She's inciting the people of the caravan to harm the police. Believe me, this will not be tolerated. She also bit a police officer. And this woman says, Lulu says, if she would have done that here in Mexico, here in the United States, she would have been submitted to violence. She instigates and brings Central Americans across the border. She's not a good person. She's very foul-mouthed and prepotente, imperialist. The police were soft on her. It took 4 of them to put her inside of that police vehicle. There are a variety of American activists in Tijuana. See, they're on to you. They know you're there. It says they're coming here to instigate, telling the people that they're going to get into the United States one way or another, by any means necessary. Does this sound familiar to you? Sounds like the rhetoric of BAM. That is what they're telling people. I've showed you. I brought you the receipts so you could see for yourself. They are telling people they're going to do this stuff, and they're going to do it by any means necessary. Here's another picture of her. For those of you out there who want to go down the rabbit hole, here's one of the people that posts about her, Susie Q Queen. Susie Q Queen. And I hope that this serves as a lesson to the rest of you, to Jessie, to David, to Myron, to Evan. Y'all ain't in Kansas anymore, Toto. You're in Mexico. And you better watch your asses, because they don't take kindly to people biting, attacking police, or spreading lies that get the police attacked. You are inciting violence against the police, you are inciting riots, and you are trying to use terroristic tactics at the border, and they will not be tolerated. Not by Mexico, not by the United States. So watch yourself. Okay? Let me show you. That's all I have for today. But I want to give you a little teaser for my next show. Okay? Little tiny teaser for my next show. There has been all sorts of news in the Standing Rock Unending Saga. You may have heard the Water Protector Legal Collective and other leaders like Chase Iron Eyes touting the success of the recent dropping of charges for the the last child camp for Washte Wee Young, Phyllis Young's daughter. And fresh off the heels of that win, poor Washte Wee Young must have gotten dappled or something happened to her Facebook page, because she was calling out some nonsense and the post got taken down. Well, don't worry, girl. I got you. I got you, boo. I saved it for you. Remember that Desiree Kane I was telling you about? That transracialized into an Indian? All these people were supporting her down at Standing Rock, and they continued to give her agency. They continued to give her presence. They continued to validate that she was an Indian, that she was a leader, that she was. And that's why she got away with taking the voice and the platform from real Indian women in any movement, in any campaign they've been working on. And I'm going to show you, all these people knew about it and they didn't say anything. What the hell is going on right now that they are cannibalizing each other and throwing each other under the bus? I won't know for a while. I'm sure y'all will help me find out, won't you? Won't you help me? I bet you will. I bet you're all going to have your ears on and your eyes wide open so that you can help me find out, what is this nonsense about? But for now, let me tell you what I found. Okay. So this tweet went out. It says, there is also a BIA police report of the violence Tara Hauska, that was a lawyer. She's a lawyer with the WPLC, and she's also part of the Red Warrior camp, if you will recall. She also was working with Bernie Sanders' campaign. Do you remember all of that? And she is said here to have committed violence against a Native woman. That's what the tweet says. Jacqueline Keeler at JF Keeler, Keeler. You can go check out the tweet for yourself if it's still up and find out what they said. I haven't had a chance to look, but this is what they're talking about. There's a BIA report, police report of the violence Tara Hauska and another did against a Native woman. This led to them both being evicted from Prairie Nights Casino during No Dapple protest at Standing Rock. Hashtag Bernie Sanders. And the story is actually about, you will never believe who it's about. It's about Desiree Kane. Washte Wee says in response, violence as opposed to posing as a Native and getting Indian preference. That's her talking about Desiree Kane. Or being mean, snarky, Nawizi indigenous woman who hates on her own people and makes shiz up just for fun. Look who else posted in here. Why, it's Sarah Juanita Jumping Eagle, Chase Iron Eyes' wife, and she says, Keeler is ultimate troll. Get a life. And Tara Hauska herself shows up to talk. And she says, geez, never met Jacqueline Keeler in real life and haven't spoken to her in 4 years. Look like she's still going. Last interaction I had with her was when Sanders' deputy campaign manager director emailed her reiterating my advisory and surrogate role. She's been slandering me then also. At what point does it become obsession? Now she's saying I committed an act of violence? That's libelous and hurtful. I remember hearing about when Auntie Deb confronted Desiree and how Desiree pushed to have a Lakota matriarch banned. I am a survivor of violence. I would never physically harm someone who spends this much time attacking another Native woman. And finally, I'm going to show you all of this thread later. It's since, like I said, it got dappled or something, but I saved it. You're welcome. Just to prove that they're really talking about Desiree Kane, the person that they were protecting and or traveling with and or validating as a real Indian, even though she wasn't, is now being thrown under the bus. And here's one of the people doing the throwing. Wash Dewey says to another woman on this topic, clarifying for this person, Caroline Reyes, who they're talking about. They're talking about Keeler and Desiree Kane. She says Keeler is the one who lied in the post above. She means the tweet. And Kane is a poser. She means she's a transracial Indian. She means she pretends to be an Indian when she's not. She's a fake. That's what she means. But get this. And she's known this all along. First time you heard it, and you're going to see it here on a Mexican Lines before you'll see it come out of them because they still want to keep it under wraps. She says, in the fall of 2016, Desiree Kane was hired by our tribe during DAPL, taking employment from Standing Rock Sioux Tribe citizens. For what? I don't know. Oh, hell yes, you know. Yes, you know. She goes on, while eating at the casino, Tu and Deb seen Kane and called her out on some BS. Desiree Kane felt threatened, so she called the police. And then in parentheticals, she says, this is what we were talking about. How do we call out posers without going to jail? Oh, that's what kept you from talking about this. I see. She goes on, to make matters worse, Prairie Knights Casino Management then 86'd Deb from the facility for life because of Desiree Kane. Embarrassing. It's a sad day when our own businesses boot our own sober grandmas from tribal businesses because of white fragility. Sigh. But from what I'm starting to see, it all sounds like mental illness, to be honest. There you have it, folks. There is problems in paradise, apparently. More Standing Rock phonies throwing each other to the wolves. And, you know, of course, it eventually had to come out that they were supporting and giving agency to a pretend Indian. Standing Rock Sioux Tribe was paying the bill for that. I'll have more on all of that nonsense on my next show. But for now, thank you for being here, for sharing, for watching. I really appreciate everything you guys are doing. Help me share this to Mexican Authority, to Mexican news sources. Put it in the comment sections of other news shows in Tijuana, in the groups that these folks have their mess in asylum seekers and digital smoke signals and all of the places I've shown you. Post up my show. They know me. Post up my show so that the people that they're deceiving have a chance to see the truth. And thank you all for your patience. Thank you all for your support. Remember, Duke, tell them just one more time, how can they support our work? It's almost Christmas, guys.
You can go to kpppfm.com/donate, and we have a PayPal credit card link there. Then your contribution will be tax deductible. You get a receipt by the end of the year. We'd appreciate it very much.
Mm-hmm. You know what that means? That means you can donate to me, to our station, and you can write it off at the end of the year. Like, write it off your taxes. That's kind of cool. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate all of your comments. I'm going to go back and look at them, and I I do need glasses to see them. At some point, I will go back and look at them. Thanks for sending me all the messages, posts, etc. I will be getting to more of those in my next shows. Good night. Buenas noches y gracias.